Oh, you should see
Hey.
Oh,
It's insane.
Watch out.
Hold it. You gotta do it again when we live.
Please.
No, man.
He hit that note. He hit a couple of notes.
Yo, he's got that boy. He got some pipes, yo.
He got some pipes.
He got some pipes. Hey, come back here. And let him get a magic.
Son of man, birthed in the sky as a fetus. Cosmic hitman, most high, the elitist. Power of the one, I can rise to the secrets. My light shine, open up our eyes like a phoenix. Son of man, birthed in the sky as a fetus. Cosmic hitman, most high, the elitist. Showers in the sun, bathe my eyes in uniqueness. Zodiac God, all praise Astrologezus. Silly God, Zodiac, stellar field ruler. Ferris wheel Bueller, seven seal jeweler. Blow is so hot, I made the devil feel cooler. My love is so high, the seven heavens kneel to you. Versus scorch, burn the human torch when I'm flaming on. My heat made their favorite cuts, that's filet mignon. Basic door, nature spawn. Haters going, faders drawn. Wanna keep you king, be careful when you place the pawns. Body still firm, and don't tell it where my brain's been. Midnight oil burner written with a vape pen. Hidden in my brainstem. Wisdom is a strange gem. I be speaking in tongues in sun dialect. Giant who be stepping on tanks, I punch fighter jets. Zodiac is raining invisible, spun spider nets. Thought alarms waking the dead with no timer set. Radio is putting in work, it's no idle threat. Used to cash checks to buy, now we buy checks with cash. Like Nike cereal and Instagram seller badge. I stay flying, I won't back down yet. Put they money up behind me, that's a background check. Son of man, birthed in the sky as a fetus. Cosmic hitman, most high, the elitist. Power of the one, I can rise to the secrets. My light shine, open up our eyes like a phoenix. Son of man, birthed in the sky as a fetus. Cosmic hitman, most high, the elitist. Showers in the sun, bathe my eyes in uniqueness. Zodiac God, all praise astrology. Yeah, flaming headdress, glowing eyes, the prestigious. Portals in the ocean, in the sky are the deepest. Zodiac records, I supply you repeaters. Astrologezus, go and fly to the peaks. Out this world where the mind's eye couldn't reach us. I am so aware, with record needles, I be threading time fabric into flesh. I can sow the air. Teddy pentagrammaton, I expose the red. You claiming blocks you rep, but you don't even know you're square. Ka Zodiac, I'm bright like a solar flare. White robe from the fur of a polar bear. Sperm made a golden glare. Words from a yogi prayer. Outer space solar. Filling up the spot, you are now a placeholder. Don't know how to play soldier. I spoke deep like the sound was played slower. Illuminate the arc to bring us now to wake Noah. Halo on the crown, that's a holy war. Man versus machine, that's the holy war. Told me more, man's an android with the circuitry that no one saw. Into demons' layers, with the demon slayers. Swimming through the dreams and layers. Wisdom for your streaming players. I see through you if you lying, that's a CAT scan. Blow a hole through your group, now that's the Gap Band. Burning Aries in the dust, that's an ashram. I try to jog my memory, but the past ran. Lunar cycle next phase, hidden like a masked man. Ninja with the fast hands, quicker than the flash can. Never saw my blade till it hit him when they crash land. Son of man, birthed in the sky as a fetus. Cosmic hitman, most high, the elitist. Power of the one, I can rise to the secrets. My light shine, open up our eyes like a phoenix. Son of man, birthed in the sky as a fetus. Cosmic hitman, most high, the elitist. Showers in the sun, bathe my eyes in uniqueness. Zodiac God, all praise Astrologezus. flow, super Casanova, super cat promoter. Lion, no fire glow, super karaoke. This is poetic dopamine, better than Coca-Cola. I'm dopamine, open stream. I be choking cobra, snake charmer, brain macabre, ancient inaugurate karma. See the Rams Day in this diaphragm diorama. Darno herbalist, moving diagram. Watching my vision is panoramic with it. It's so botanic. Flower child, showered in clouds, my soul expanded. Life is a design, why didn't you know the planet? Polish up some knowledge, my wisdom will coat the planet. I get it, I'm so demanding, supply, gotta cut the wire, run traditional umbilical cord inside the cipher. As a baby, grab the mic instead of a pacifier. Melody appetizer, beware buyer, this is some rare fire. Sit in a chair higher, giving a spin tire. You're on your last lap like a stripper that just for tiger. Now I mean my queen seem to be sweeter than the papaya. I move far away from ninjas to wear blinders. Gold color contact, solar power guard rap. No one can doubt that I'm that lyrical exerciser, spiritual advisor, and I'm the kind of man that miracles admire. Minerals are minor, I majored in all required to complete the grand arcanum. Leaping the phantom quantum, Phoenician, the fire blossom. Come reach for this higher doctrine, Mayan shaman, mind boggling. Reach to the time I'm all the skin, mocking since forgotten sins. Common men, Neji, and nigga time sovereigns. Making bullet points, lacking freedom is a problem. Carry extra magazines like they speaking in your column. I came from the center, never started from the bottom. Got your children in school, being smart instead of option. Rhyme book encyclopedia uses written in the margins. Listening to Marvin, sexual healing. My medicine is revealing that the stars in the sky got ancestors in the ceiling. Movies of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netta. Time slipping through our fingers, fit a sand texture. Chandelier in the ceiling full of ancestors. Movies of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netta. Chandelier in the sky full of ancestors. Show you clear, maybe you can understand better. Yes. Zodiac lay shower me. Spirits from above, those who passed away flower me. A lost intelligence, I may out, but they encountered me. Effortlessly writing new verse before you count to three. With a sound to see, a sight to hear, the taste of beauty. My ancestors in the sky told me make a movie. It's the mega Sufi, serving like a maker Sufi. The grand makers open bars, I can make the zoo free. I'm giving season passes to the secret passage. Not a tunnel, but a chapter unreleased status. Slow gases, mine ain't fast enough to beat molasses. Midget at a strip club, arms ain't long enough to reach the masses. See the Phoenix resurrected if you read the ashes. Cross me, you'll be seeing axes. Reenactors needing atlas like IG tags. Meet me at the Atlas, put a train, bloodshot eyes from drinking out your reading glasses. Zodiac's name, crack your brain, rappers slain, master pain. I make hits, they making Cassius claims older than Apostle Luke age. Smoke pop with Luke Cage, the Bush master, Mussolini, Galactica. Houdini couldn't see me with a crystal ball, eagle, regal, seeking all lies to plot a dream for y'all. I push past the vision y'all look after. Clear while I'm the finisher here like wood lacquer. Shooting star, comedy type like good laughter. Heavy steel like a waiter when I walk on with toast. God's called me on the tower here, I'm talking with ghosts. Like sun rays in the seance, I slice like a radiant. Zodiac real estate, kingdom of the avians. He's up above us, they thinking that I'm Canadian. KZ the chosen A-bomb, I wrote the ape song. Magician that can open they palm, exploded napalm. King Kong, Kami high, exploded 8 palm with granite countertop. Holding wishes in my palm, my granite Megalodon, Megatron, I'm stretching my mind's height. Tap the splitter, subtly, I'm Gregory hindsight. Movies of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netta. Time slipping through our fingers, fit a sand texture. Chandelier in the ceiling full of ancestors. Movies of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netta. Chandelier in the sky full of ancestors. Show you clear, maybe you can understand better.
Yes, we are here right on time. And the next voice you're going to hear after my voice is the voice of Joyce, the God mind. The reason why we are here in this space together here today on this holy Sunday. The mastermind's mastermind, Allah's intelligence, Ka-zodiac. All praise Astrologezus.
Can't hear you.
Man, see, look, I built up the flyness of the fly. You see what I'm saying? We working through it. Okay, we working through it. We are working through it. Give us a half a second to get it together and Shazam. Let me like that. So while we waiting, tell 50 people that we going live. I know y'all look, not serious here. Okay. It should be 3,475 people watching right now just because it's not serial alone. Just off the strip. 300,700 million trillion people should
You know what I'm gonna do?
okay.
I'll share the link.
Yeah, yes. And we got the master motivator. She like the she's like the elevation whisperer. Like, but she don't whisper when she tell you to get your shit together. Okay, but she whisper. You hear that in your mind. You see what I'm saying? And when I'm tripping and I'm veering off of the path, I hear my impress that's in my mind, like, get your shit together. You out here looking raggedy, fam. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what would Allah say to you? I was like, all right, let me get my, you know, what Red said on Friday, I'm gonna tuck mine in. The magical, mystical priestess. I mean, L in the building with us as well. Okay. So it should be 400 billion trillion people in here watching right now because, I mean, these is the greatest gifts of creation. Okay. The mothers of creation is in the building. The reasons for the season. Okay. Don't get no better than that. Don't get no better than that. And it's cancer season. That's the reason. Okay. It's cancer season. That's the reason we're here and we're live. And we're gonna get busy with part 2 of The Last Dragon Decoded. So while these technical get technical, Amina, if you could give us your overview, if you got a moment to share with us your overview of the film. We wasn't here for part 1. Like I said, it felt like we was cheating. You see what I'm saying? Like we was two-timing you out here, like we was being two-timers without your presence in the building. It ain't feel the same. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want to talk to us a little bit about the film, what you think about it thus far, what you want to share with us, a little something while we get it together. The floor is yours.
Peace and love, everyone. Honors to all of you. My take on the movie, I loved it because it was really about understanding the master itself. You have to understand that you are your own master. And the more you keep looking outside of yourself for that realization, the more difficult you make everything for yourself. That's kind of what I took from it. As well as, yeah, like that was really the main thing for me, was just he was looking for the master. like especially when he went to the I think it was 3 of them, the 3 Asian brothers, or uh
Yes.
brothers, cousins, friends, whatever. When he went there to them, and it was really what was it, a printer or a computer in that room, and they had him thinking it was a master in there, but it really wasn't. And I thought that was awesome too, because it really reflected the Gemini in the 12th house of Cancer, being that he thought it was something there, but it was really just a room of television, or was it computers or cameras, whatever it was in there in that room. It just kind of, to me, it just symbolized, um, yeah, like it was an illusion. The master is the self. And when you think about Cancer, especially when I found out he is a Cancer, like the main character is a Cancer, right? So the 10th house of Cancer is Aries, and Aries is well, I will just say the 10th house is the house of mastery, and and Aries being there is the sign of the self. And so it's like there's a deep inner knowing of having to go within. Like Cancer is an energy that reminds me of going within, like a turtle, or like how the Cancer kind of goes within its own shell and maybe hide, or it doesn't even have to be about hiding. It could just be about processing, processing the feelings of what it is you need to understand without the external analyzing. It's about the internal analyzing. And when you do go you just looking at the law, astrological zodiac law, Cancer, the internal energy, the emotional energy, places Aries at the house of mastery. So when you can understand your emotions, you become, or your own thoughts, your own feelings, and you can process those feelings, you can become the master of self. And when he had that realization through the form of being baptized, right? Or through the form of getting his head sunk under the water, um, or forced under, under the water, he was able to finally have the realization that he is the master. And then that's when he got his glow. His aura was shining, because all it took was for him to realize that it was really within him. So I love that, because I know Cancer energy does have this hard time with realizing themselves. Um, or I won't even say Cancers. Let's just say the motherly energy, right? Think about the mother. Um, One difficult thing for a mother to do is to get back to herself. Having Aries at the 10th, you're so dependent. Well, everybody, we could say, like the family, the children, whoever, can become very dependent on that Cancerian energy, to where her identity can become clouded in, oh, I'm mom. I can't do that because I'm a mom. I can't get dressed up anymore. I'm a mom. I can't go, here with you guys because I'm a mom. And so Aries at the 10th house being difficulties and stuff, right? And hardships or obstacles. So that could say Aries at the 10th, self, getting back to your own identity can be difficult for a mother, right? For a woman. And when you think about Cancer too, Cancer's home, or the moon, I should say the moon. When you think about the moon's home is Cancer, but it's only there for 2.5 days.
Man.
The moon is in everybody else's sign: Aries, Capricorn, Leo, Gemini, Scorpio. The moon is everywhere else throughout the month. And she's only at home for 2 days. So think about, the externalization of that water energy is constantly pouring into all the other signs. And meanwhile, when it's time for the moon to actually be in Cancer, it's not even there long enough. So like, yeah, that energy, with me being a Cancer personally, I really resonated with that, especially when I found out he was a Cancer. I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. It's really about remembering, that energy. It can be difficult to remember the identity. Having Aries at the 10th house. 10th house, again, being a house of obstacles. And you got the sign of self there. So it's like, yeah, we just got to remember when we in our feelings. That for me, I just took, when you in your feelings or things aren't clear, you always got to remember your authority. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So that's what I took from it. I yield.
I like that. That's on point. I resonate with that.
Man, that is like the greatest alley-oop to Nasira.
Yeah, because
Okay,
you
it's
know
like the
what?
greatest of the greatest. Like it's the greatest.
Cancers,
Okay,
cancers,
the
come on.
The
greatest
cancer
alley-oop. I was like,
energy, the cancer
damn.
energy. And you know what? While you were talking, Amina, I was thinking about, I was married to a Capricorn, and
Mm,
I have the North Node in Capricorn. I'm a Cancer.
mm,
And it was, and I love being a mother. I like being married, but the Capricorn energy that he was giving me, it was more like, you stay at home. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I had things that I wanted to do with my life, like become a
mm,
therapist. You know, I wanted to finish school. I wanted to get that degree. I wanted to get a master's. He didn't really want to see me do that. I wanted to DJ. He kind of like, you know, you don't need to be on the internet. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. So I just, as a Cancer, you know, I like being at home. It's not that I don't, but I still have goals that I have to meet. Having the North Node in Capricorn is something that I have to do. And, you know, I want to
mhm.
be able to be there, you know, for my family, but at the same time, I have this energy around me that says, no, you have to, this is what you need to do this life. I have a South Node in
Focus on
Cancer.
self.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, when you were saying that, it reminded me of the struggles that I used to have, you know, being married. I just didn't think it would be like that for me, but it's just something that I had to do, things that I needed to do. And he just wasn't really, you know, in agreement. He felt like I should be at home.
He
And
wants
I
you to be
wasn't
South
home.
Node.
Yeah,
He wants
I
you to
mean,
be
I was
South
living in the
Node.
past and it was difficult. And I think that when people think about marriage, they're thinking about, oh, well, you know, you're not marriage material, but you may have other things that you have to complete in this life. That's why it's important to find a partner that's going to support it. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that you need people around you that's going to help you, you know, get there. But I think that's why, you know, we do need to have an understanding of astrology, and you really should do those charts before you get married. You know, even when you court someone, you should know if these people are going to support you in your effort, because it can set you back. I mean, everything in life is a lesson, but I just think that, you know, if you know these things and you have these tools in advance, it can make it a little bit more palatable, you know, these struggles that we have to go through. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Yeah, definitely.
That was the full moon you just summed up right there.
Yeah, it's a lot
You
going
summed
on.
up the full moon. That's why we're here. That's what this is. This is the full moon breakdown via the last dragon. And the reason why is because when you're dealing with a full moon, you're always dealing with partnerships. You're always dealing with balance, right? So full moon and Cap. Look, watch this. Can the Cancers in the building raise their hands? Huh?
You
Where
went
the
out.
Cancers? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You said, what about the Cancers?
The Cancers. Where the Cancers in the building?
Mm-hmm.
Now look, there's 2 Cancers right here, right? The moon is in Capricorn.
Mm.
Both of you have the sun in Cancer,
Yep.
Yeah.
and I have the moon in Capricorn, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the perspective of Taurus, Cancer is in a Gemini position. That's duality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking to 2 Cancers, right? And the moon, we have the moon. See, it's all about balancing partnerships. Bruce Zeroy, right?
Mm.
The actor, Timac. Cancer, Vanity, right? Capricorn.
Mm.
And this is a good time to bring that up because I didn't go into this knowing that,
Mm.
right? I didn't go into this knowing that. I looked up that energy after the fact. And I said, wow, they're a perfect personification of what this full moon entails. And you can see through the nature of their relationship on screen. Whenever people play a role to each other in a movie, their chart is interacting with each other. It's not acting. You understand? If two people get on camera and one person pretends to punch the other person in the face, and then you look up the synastry between the two of them, and you see the one who hit him has Mars in that person's first house, and you say, "Oh wow, they are acting out the energy." So the same way you don't pick your friends, you don't pick your enemies. You think you do. You don't pick your partners because you're cast into a role when a role is a what? Circle, right? When you roll something up, it's a circle. You're cast into a role, right? We're all cast into a role here.
It's
See?
almost done, Boogie.
So
Raw meat.
when we find ourselves on the screen,
No.
life is a stage. We're not doing anything differently than what our chart describes, right? So the two of them had a natural relationship vibrationally based on the Cancer and Capricorn balance. Now, Capricorn represents things that are older and more mature, right? Out of the two of them, she is the Capricorn. She played the role of being the one who was older, who was more mature, right? He had to come to her and say, "Hey, can you show me some moves?" You know what I'm saying? Not the other way around.
Right.
Can you teach me some moves? Say, I don't even have a paintbrush, right? And the last time he said it, she was coming down, right? From seventh heaven, 7, Libra, balance, relationships, balance of Capricorn and Cancer. He was down at the bottom because that's Cancer. Capricorn is the top of the mountain, so she was coming up from above, coming down to meet him. Balance.
I would like to see her.
I would like to see. Cancer is the eyes. I would like to see her. I would like to see her. Check this out too. This popped in my mind today. The glow. If you were to give me a synonym for the glow, what would another word for the glow be? Anybody? Nobody?
I got all kind of thoughts. We don't need none of my thoughts right now.
So, a synonym for the glow.
Aura.
Nobody?
Yeah.
Aura, right?
See, look, you see how that works? Look.
See. Now, what was Vanity's name in the movie?
Was Lord Charles?
Take away the L. What do you get?
Aura Charles. Wow. All right.
Love aura.
L, right? L is
Almighty
Saturn,
aura, right? Almighty aura,
right?
Too.
God,
Almighty aura.
Saturn, L. The 7 is why she had to come down from 7th heaven, right? Because Saturn, L, is exalted in Libra, which is an L, which if you flip it upside down is a 7, right? So, like the 7 chakras, which are the aura, which make up the aura. So L, aura, the aura of L. So when you deal with the rings of Saturn, you're dealing with the entire system and the energy of each one of those fields, right? Because it's the 7th seal. the ring that seals all the other rings, right? Mars is a ring. Jupiter's a ring. Moon's a ring. The sun's a ring. Venus is a ring. Mercury's a ring. Saturn seals the ring, right? Why? When you get out of Saturn, the energy, because Saturn seals was solid. Uranus is electrical. It's the electrical current that flows through the system, but not the solidification of the system itself. Pisces, forget about that. You can't even touch it, right? Can't touch it, can't hold it. Neptune, untouchable. So the last thing that you can hold and seals things in matter. Matter, what matters. Again, that's Cancer and Capricorn, what matters. Something that matters because it's solid, solidification, matter. Capricorn, earth sign. Something that matters to you because you care about it. Cancer, right? And that's the balance between the two. Because matter is mother, right? Living in a material girl, living in the material world, matrix, mother, matter. Cancer. You care about it, it matters. If you can touch it, it's matter. Right? In order for you to be something that can be touched, or rather, in order for you to be put in something that can be touched, you got to go through Mother Matter, because she'll give you the seven seals, the seven rings, the seven colors of the rainbow, the seven layers of the coat of many colors. And so through her, above and through the womb above and the womb below, you gain all the layers of matter. Ending in Saturn, the seal, right? So the L aura, right? That's who she is, the L aura.
I would like to see her.
So Capricorn is the master. See, she was already in a master position in her world and what she did in order to be able to recognize him being the master in what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was already in the position, again, I would like to see her. She was already above. And he was starting from a point of coming into maturity where his brother was already more mature than he was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? His brother was already there. And he was behind. So without
Laura Charles said it was nice to meet me.
yeah, Lord Charles said it was nice to meet me. Here the boy must be sick. So can you be my what bodyguard? So that means that energy will be in their chart. Anything in the dynamic of their relationship to each other will be in the chart. Shout out to Cap Jones. I heard him say something about, I think, 44.
Yeah, 44 tomorrow.
People say he's a Cancer. I thought that was interesting. His name is Cap, but he's a
Right.
Cancer.
Cancer, Capricorn. Because there is no Cancer without Capricorn. There is no Capricorn without Cancer.
Now that approach on his ascent, if I could add in for a second. Was you finished? I didn't want to.
Say what you were gonna say.
She gives him the throne to rule. She gives him the throne to rule from mother. So she provides that throne and that reminder for him to rule. So when he sees her, finally, because he didn't see her the entire time, after he was made aware,
Because he would like to see her.
yeah, he would like to see her. So when he saw her for the first time, he presented himself with an offering for her. And it was the first, because this is the first time that he saw himself. And not only did he see himself and he saw her, he was acknowledged before the world as who he is.
Mm-hmm.
In the same instance, all at the same time. So with the witnesses, right? And you have to be who you are. You have to be pronounced in front of the witnesses. So look at that space that's created. She's descending. He's ascending. And now he's there being presented before the world. Yo, look at the cornball. He ain't no cornball. He is my brother.
And he's the master.
And he's the master. So this familiar time relationship, remember the tumultuous relationship that they had between each other. He said, remember, is what he told them. If anybody asks, I know I
I'm
ain't
not
your brother. You see what I'm saying? So this experience that's freeing, this ascension.
If I may,
Now,
if I may interject this thought in here, just because we have to always translate everything into Cosmo talk, right? That's what we do here. Because as above, so below. Cancers have Gemini, which is the brother in the position of Pisces, which is what you ignore, which you don't want to acknowledge, which you hide, right? What's hidden. So there's a lot, you could be a Cancer of energy. It conceals the brother energy. It's a shroud for it. It's a covering. It's a covering for thought. That's all it is. When you seeing water move, are you really seeing the water move, or are you seeing the air energy? When you're seeing you move, are you really seeing matter move, or are you seeing mind move matter? Right?
you think that's air you're breathing right now? That's what he told him in the womb. He took him back to the womb. He thought that he was there, but he was still in the womb. So just like Bruce Zeroy, he was in the womb looking to be born. He was like, Master, I'm confused. He said, good. Confusion is a part of life. Also, fear and love.
Mm-hmm.
He started with confusion, right? That's chaos coming into order. So he had everything else in order except himself. This is why he couldn't see himself. So when she saw him and when he saw her, they were looking for each other. And she had trouble before him, just not the trouble that she would perceive. So when she saw him, time stopped. And when he saw her, time stopped. So
Time
that
X
connection, right? That connection between those two
Capricorn
brought a
is time.
synergy, but it involved a journey of work to get to each other in preparation for who they would be in the end. So there's a work in progress. So again, that there was a throne that he was looking to approach. And it began with him catching the arrow. He caught the arrow, and the arrow was the blue one. So on his quest for knowledge, in the ancient languages, there's no differentiation between blue and green. And he was Leroy Green. So in order to go to this approach on this path for knowledge in the Holy Quran, they got Moses' quest for knowledge. He goes to El Qadar, and El Qadar is the green one. So when he catches this blue arrow, he literally caught it. There was no stunt double, there's nothing. They went through that sequence until he could catch the arrow. So he literally caught that arrow out of the air.
You know what's interesting?
So when he said to him, "You knew without knowing,"
Listen, knowledge born.
go ahead.
See, now we have to break that down further though, because Jupiter is the arrow, right? Jupiter is the arrow, and he has Jupiter opposite Neptune, which is catching the arrow, the blue one, without knowing. Catching the arrow while blindfolded, right? Even though there wasn't a literal blindfold, it was a mental blindfold. That's Cancer. And the 12th. See, Gemini hands in the 12th of Cancer is catching things with your eyes closed without knowing. Because you didn't think about it. He felt it. He felt it. He didn't think about it. He felt it.
And it wasn't something that he saw coming. Versus the other arrows, he anticipated them coming.
He was already there before the arrow hit.
Right.
That's how he caught it. Because you got to know the
in
moves.
Your mind,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. In your mind, the last place he wanted to be was in confrontation, but he was in conflict the entire time. Remember, his mantra was to his students, "God help me if I ever have to use my art." I mean, when you was talking about Aries, he had to fight in order to get to that last level. There was no way around it. And if you looked at it, when he was looking to fight for himself, it didn't mean anything. It was so effortless when he went to fight for her. He didn't even know her. Instinctually, like he grabbed that arrow, right? Instinctually, he went to fight for her. Instinctually, like nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Like literally it's there. It's like, all right, boom, fight. Game on. I don't care what kind of danger that befalled him. So when the lady told him, "Hey, tell him to stay away from seven heaven," he was prepared to face that army. He didn't give a damn about what was waiting for him in seven heaven. He said, "You gonna go by yourself?" Johnny like, "Fam, like, yo, like I thought you was like smart. Like, what you doing, fam?" Like, he didn't give a damn. He locked him in the closet.
Capricorn. Look, here it is again. Him being the Cancer, because he cares. He was caring more about their safety than his own. Just like Shonuff walked in, right? He kissed his shoes, not because he wouldn't have fought him. He was like, he looked back and he was like, "Damn, I don't want none of them to get hurt."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to get hurt. That was the Cancer thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, I've got to mother you. I got to mother all my students. You know what I'm saying? In his mind. So I got to make sure that they all, if I can avoid this conflict, and I'll take the L. You know what I'm saying? For right now. Because they're not ready yet. But in the end, they ended up saving him.
Right.
Yeah.
It completely flipped. He locked them in the closet. No, you know, and you know what's interesting about that? We spend a lot of our time and energy wanting to protect those who come after us when they come to protect us.
Right.
Well, when there's a war, they don't send the old, do they?
Yep, the young. The young.
You want Mars, right? You don't send Capricorn, you send Aries, right? So, oh man, you know the motherly energy, Cancer. So I want to protect, to try to, if I can make sure that they don't experience any kind of pain and harm, or you know, but what happens? They end up being the protector. Just like with him, he said, I'm gonna lock my brother in the closet, Gemini in 12th of Cancer. And ultimately, he ended up being the one that helped to save him. Completely flipped.
You know, that movie was the perfect balance, the perfect example of Cancer Capricorn energy. And that's something I've always tried to, you know, because I'm surrounded by Capricorn moons. I had 2 kids with Capricorn moons. I have ex-husband that's a Capricorn. My mother's a
Salute to
Capricorn.
the Capricorn moons out there.
Kalika's a Capricorn moon.
Yeah.
So it's something that I have to master within myself. You know, being a Cancer sun, trying to find the balance between that, my Capricorn North Node, to balance all this motherly energy that I have, because you know, even with me trying to protect, I was always stopped by that Capricorn. Like there was never a balance. Like if you just let me do my job and do what I need to do, and then it would be perfect. So that movie was a perfect example of how.
And guess who has the same moon as Vanity?
I do.
That's right.
Yep, Scorpio.
That's right. And you see how that played. You see how that played out. They kidnapped the.
Yeah.
There was the energy of desire.
She didn't scare at all.
No,
Can we deal with that?
Not even slightly.
Not even a little
He
bit.
was like, look. He didn't ask her. He walked over. He said, "So you're gonna play my video?"
No, absolutely not. That's me.
No.
All day. No, we're not
like the tank is right there, all the guns, the goons, everything.
She was like, she was like, that shit was whack before you kidnapped me, and it's whack now. You know what I'm saying?
Can you play my single note?
Let me tell you something. They were saying certain things in there that were prophetic, because the whole gang has been kidnapped, tied up, and said, "You're going to play my video, right?" Yes, I will. Of course I will. It's great. I love it. The greatest thing I've ever heard.
Nope.
Right? Play me some more. Oh, yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. Right? So now it's all that and no aura. There's no aura Charles in it. It's not coming from 7th heaven. Right? There's no balance because it's Cancer, right? It's not really what you feel. Did you feel that really? No. She was like, no.
Absolutely.
Look. What was Sonos' reaction to it? Who plays this garbage?
Yeah.
Plays this garbage. You know why? Because that's what everybody would say. Because what were they pushing? Scorpio. And where does it become now? Stripper rappers. The ones that used to dance in the back of the videos now are in the front of it.
Right.
For your children's entertainment.
Let the games begin.
Yeah.
You know what's L2? whenever actually, let me word this right here. The same way that people are born as a personification of the energy, they're reborn as a personification of the energy. So we show up in the lives of others like the sun shows up over the horizon. We didn't see it, not that it didn't exist, it just wasn't around you. When it showed up, it was a personification of whatever the current energy was. So full moon in Capricorn is going to be 11 degrees of Capricorn. And she has the sun 2 degrees from that, thus being a personification. Not even in flesh, but being a personification of the eternal living wheel. You know why? Because we didn't bring up her chart last week, did we?
No, we didn't.
You know why? Because the sun was 2 degrees from his sun degree. Right? When we did the last show. The sun and the moon were 2 degrees from her sun degree this show. Right? Sun would be at 11 degrees. Cancer. Moon at 11 degrees. Thank you. Of Capricorn. And we see she has the sun 13 degrees of Capricorn. 2 degrees from the full moon. 2 degrees of separation. Last show, 4 degrees of Cancer. And his sun is 6 degrees. 2 degrees from that. See? I couldn't have planned that. I didn't, look, I went and organized all the charts last week, and it didn't even occur to me that hers wasn't even in it until after the show. Right? Because she didn't come on the stage yet. Because in the
I don't even own that.
In the movie, who showed up first? It didn't start with her.
Wasn't it time that? Didn't it start with Bruce Leroy first?
It started with him first because Cancer comes before Capricorn.
So it's playing out the same way.
Exactly. Because, like I said before, what's in the energy of the chart plays out in patterns repeatedly forever.
Wow. Going
forward and going backward before you. And that's the deeper part of it. I'll let you ponder that. If you can see how the energy affects people and brings people on and off the stage of people's focus, when the energy highlights them, if they're not even in flesh, then the same could be said before you were in it. Because as above, so below, as before, as after. Because the head has to meet the tail, right? Full circle. If you go forward, you run into the same degrees of the circle. If you go backward, you run into the same degrees of the circle. No matter which direction you go, because the circle is the dragon. And in the circle is the garden. Because the garden is the dragon. And the dragon is the garden. The guardian of the garden. Right? See that outside the wheel? That's the dragon.
The guy who played his pops is a Libra.
Interesting.
September 25th.
Because Libra is the fourth house of Cancer. It's the family of Cancer. See? And from the perspective of Capricorn, it's the 10th house, which is business, and thus he was running the family business. Right? Directing your pizza to Daddy Pizza.
Directing your pizza. Yeah.
Pizza. Yeah.
Said, watch yourself, son. Remember?
Yeah.
That's what he told him. He told him, hey, don't get it twisted up in here. And what he told Shonuff, he said, he's not here. He said, not sure if I told you if I did know where he was at. Not
Yeah.
sure.
Not sure you
Told
tell
him.
We'll put him over the counter.
And then the queen with the mother energy, she was throwing the joints, right?
Yeah. She was doing the dough at the at all the goons. Take that baby.
I'm a kill it. I'm a kill it.
So since this is all about the balance of the energy in the synastry, if you pull up their chart together, because that makes the movie right there. It's the Adam and Eve, because even is 7, right? 7, 7, even, right? They're the Adam and Eve, because for every Adam there has to be an Eve. For every sunrise there has to be a sunset, because he represents the sunset. So we see from his chart where the sun is, you see she's at the sunset. Opposite where his sun is, shining in the house of partnership, not just in the energy of the movie, but in reality. The roles that people play to each other, that they act out, is exactly what the chart describes. Another example. If you look at where he has Mars, right? He has Mars, or rather where she has Mars. Her Mars and Taurus sitting exactly on top of his Jupiter. So it's Jupiter and Mars together. A lot of danger. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of danger. It's a lot of violence, right? So watching him catch the bullet in his teeth, because she has what? Mars opposite the moon, which his Jupiter sits in between. And Jupiter is the superhero that comes to your rescue. Mars opposite the moon is energy that deals with violence and women in the home, right? So we see how that played out with her, Mars and Taurus. They do it outside the car, grabbed her up, Taurus' throat. Other dude went to go hit her. Leroy shows up, catches his hand, right? His Jupiter sits in between her Mars and Moon opposition. So that's, I'm going to rescue you from the danger, right? But also it shows the shared experience, bringing a lot of conflict and being around a lot of violence, a lot of fights. Jupiter Mars, very, very strong fiery attraction, right? But it's a lot of conflicts. We also see that she has Venus in Capricorn as well.
Mm.
And also Venus and the Sun in his 7th house. I was like, oh man. He said, this is just what I need. I gotta get out of my parents' apartment with Richie. I gotta get out of here. Man walked up to that spot. He was like, oh, this is nice. Couldn't even stand up straight.
Mm-hmm.
She has Venus in Capricorn, so you see that she already had a stable career. She was solid in what she was doing in her purpose. She said, listen, I need you to be my bodyguard. I'm already good. All you gotta do is just guard me. You know what I'm saying? And so for him, that gave him a sense of purpose. Because what good is all this kung fu stuff if you don't even use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
What good is it if you don't even use it? Because he did what? She gave him a reason to use it. Because he could have just walked away and said, oh, people get kidnapped every day, B. You know what I'm saying? You know where they was at? You think she was the only one? Nah, he cared, Cancer. Right? If he didn't care or whatever, I'll be a hero tomorrow. Cared. He could not care because of that attraction of that energy. Jupiter Mars as well. I want to save you. Opposite, she is Neptune in the moon. So she played the role of a vibrational damsel in distress to him. Not because she planned on it, but because that's what the energy was cast into. And so he played the role of, I'm going to save you. And from that point, you see, the second that happened, though, she loved it. Oh, you right on time. You see what we're looking at? So their relationship is a microcosm of the full moon.
Mm.
The equilibrium between Cancer and Capricorn. He wanted to stay in his comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
She was always handling her business. Capricorn. But what does Cancer do professionally? It fights. Think about that. In some form, no matter whatever it is you do, you're fighting for something. You have to. Because that's Aries in the 10th. So she didn't walk up to him and say, hey, you want to hang out? Nah, she said it was business with her. Her relationships is based on business. She said, I got a job for you. You know what I'm saying? I got a job for you. She approached him with would not just. She didn't, say you want to come over. She said, no, I got a job for you. Purpose. I need you to do this. Can you do this? Every time I get into some trouble, you show up, kick people in the face, and it's all good. I got a job for you. She has Venus in Capricorn, which means what? You got to be a master. Venus in Capricorn, the relationship is based on mastery, purpose, responsibility. You could have not shown up. Say, listen, I helped you last time. You got to stop, allowing yourself to get caught up like this.
Mm-hmm.
But you showed up again and again. So I'll catch a bullet in the teeth for you, basically. He said, I didn't want to fight short off, I'll fight him. Everything he didn't want to do, he did. Because that was the goal.
Is his moon in Aquarius?
Yes. Yes, it is. Do you see evidence of that in the role that he played?
The Aquarius moon?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it speaks to how he was just seen as like strange, weird, the different one, the weirdo. He was rejected by the family. Was wanted by the group. The group was looking for him. They wanted to fight him, which is the 8th house. Aquarius is the 8th house of Cancer. And he have the ruler of Cancer there in Aquarius. Yeah, I could definitely see it though. His chart ruler, his sun ruler in Aquarius in the 8th house of the sun. Yeah, I just see how he was denied and rejected. He wasn't really taken serious, even though he was masterful, advanced. He was advanced at, his craft, his skill. But yeah, he had to, just like the 8th house and any other planets in the 8th house. I look at the 8th house as like, you're going to be on some sort of repetitive cycle over and over and over again until you get it. And in his case, the moon rules his sun. So it's like, until you wake up and have this sudden change of heart when it comes to your power, 8th house, then you'll break free out of being the strange one or the weirdo. You'll actually become enlightened as to who you are. So yeah, I just look at that as powerful because I know Pluto is exalted, or not Pluto, Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. So that's kind of like the same, having that Aquarius in the 8th house, and then his moon is here. So yeah, he really had to break free when it came to the realization of his personal power. But I love that. Makes sense. He definitely was weird. Just, out of friends.
Everybody who ascended had to break free. Everybody was bound who had an ascension journey in the past. They all had to break free. Richie had to break free. Johnny had to break free. And the one guy that was with him who wound up playing in what was it? Red Sonja.
That's a throwback.
He had to break free as well. So along the path, even the students, like you were saying, kind of like they came to rescue him, like he was the teacher, and the students had to come and get down, and nobody had a problem getting down. It wasn't like nobody was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna go." You understand what I'm saying? That they rolled up in
Everybody,
there,
even the smallest one.
right? Right, right. So this was all of the whole culminating factor of the family coming. You know, so if you attack the queen bee or you try to attack the hive,
Mm.
there's an encircling. You got to contend with everybody. So they had to contend with
That was
everybody.
his Uranus Pluto. We all coming to kill you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And also that being in the third house of Cancer and Virgo, which is the sign that deals with criticism. His brother was always criticizing him.
Right.
And the one that called him the weirdo. But he's also the one who ultimately recognized his freedom from that status.
Right.
Right. He had to bear witness.
And that's the first time we see that hip hop connection. Before it was kind of hazy all the way through. But we saw it very clearly. In order for him to free himself from those ropes that bound him in, he had to.
Now you're treading on part 3. because that's the theme right there of part 3. Right there. This connection to Saturn and Pisces, which deals with Saturn is the measurer, the ruler. It is the master. Pisces is music. The Saturn and Pisces represents going back and checking your progress. Did you stay on course? Did you do what you were supposed to do? Is it doing what it was created for? Right? Because Saturn's mission is function and measurement. Either it works or it doesn't work. It's in place or it's out of place. It is doing its job.
And now the guy who plays Shonuff is a Pisces. And the first time that we saw him was on Disco Godfather with Rudy Ray Moore.
Going back to music again. Godfather Saturn. Saturn and Pisces. See, now you got me interested in that chart, but that's a whole nother topic. Now I want to pull up real quick full moon chart. Amina, you with us? Do you see how their synastry is in this full moon? Even Mercury, which is at 14 degrees of Cancer, is opposite, where she has the sun. Mercury is the sun is where people are talking about you and your performance. And they're giving meaning to your actions, to things you've already done. That's the thing about purpose. Purpose is something that continues to reveal itself after the action has taken place. It's not just, oh, look, I did it. Boom. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, son, you did it. Nah. You did what? Once the stone hits the water, the ripples just begin. And they get bigger. And each one represents a cycle of time. That as it gets bigger, it becomes a larger cycle of time, a larger measurement from a day to a week to a month to a year. In Saturn's case, Saturn was at 7 degrees. The last time that we did this, and we were talking about the archetype of Saturn and the connection to the 7, it was the 7 degrees, right? So Saturn's role is very important because it's still going to be a 7. 7. Saturn is exalted in the 7th sign. Saturn is L is 7. It's the 7th seal, right? So Saturn is 7 degrees retrograde, going back. So we're going back and remeasuring things, right? And we're measuring where we've been, and we're measuring what we've learned in our education, because Saturn is in the 9th position of the Sun and Mercury in Cancer, right? So Pisces is film. Understand this. Every film that you watch is education or indoctrination. When you read a book, that's a program. When you do something routinely, Virgo, that's a program, right? When you do something repeatedly, it's a program. Progress, ram, Aries, right? So you got to get with the program. You got to get with your program. Saturn in Pisces is control. So there's some people who watch these things and it shapes the way they view things, puts ideas in their mind, and that's that. And there's also others who are able to decode and unpack what is compressed into any, whether it's film, whether it's music. See, Pisces exalts Sagittarius to the top, and Sagittarius is the sign of education. So through films, through music, I guarantee you probably learn more through movies you watched and through music that you listened to than you did in school. People memorize words to songs, but not from textbooks. But they memorize words from songs, right? And Pisces is balanced by Virgo, which is repetition, and we listen to these things repeatedly. Now, this boy, how many times have you watched this movie, would you say?
I think probably about 50, 50 times on the low end.
Back to the connection to hip hop again. Right.
And there's a movement infused with it. So that sedentary space is a torture to your spiritual and physical makeup. The movement is associated with it. So you hear something and you moving and you dancing, it's arresting your defenses for you to even ingest it or say, no, I don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. So even songs you don't like, you know. Mm-hmm. You moving around. Like the beat got you. And you know all of the words of the song. You're like, I hate this song. Now, oh, damn, you got this song stuck in my head. But
you're still dancing.
Right? Because you're moving to it, because your body agrees with the rhythm and it's flowing with your rhythm, because you're in motion and we're constantly in motion. So you remember this motion Go ahead.
Take look, mother M, right? Take the M off of motion. And what do you get? Ocean, right? And the ocean is filled with waves, and the waves are the M's of W's, depending how you look at it. Really both, right? The waves of the mother. So
yes, the womb.
Everything that's in motion is
primordial waters. Yeah, the womb. Yeah.
So
where things are multiplied.
If Pisces seals the wheel and it permeates everything, there's nowhere that it isn't. Imagination fills every space, right? Imagination goes where matter can't. But it also means, since it's water, we're swimming in an ocean of imagination. And so it's waves we're riding on, and you have to go with the current of it. The things that we think we know, the things that are so solid now, that phone you're using, the computer you're using, the chair you're sitting in, the desk you're sitting in front of, the room that you're sitting in, the house that you're sitting in, the street that you're on. They were all a product of somebody's imagination. The things that you study from books that are written came out of somebody's head as a product of imagination. All of it. The things we put here, the things we didn't. So this is important because Saturn being the seventh seal in the last sign is very finalizing. It's like closing the chapter on a very, very old book. After you read it again.
Now, Sarah, this episode was brought to you by what letter?
You said what letter? You asked me what number last time.
But it's a letter and a number. The letter was?
I don't remember the letter, but the number was 7.
The number was 7. The letter was S.
Oh.
See how that worked?
I say you got me.
So when you look at Capricorn, you can see the loop in it. Because time is a loop. Like the hourglass is a loop. And we're looking for the loophole. The loophole. To get out the loop.
Can we take a moment?
Yes, we can.
I think it's a perfect opportunity to take a moment, to pay homage. All praise Astrologezus. Get a little Astrologezus moment. So tell some people we on live. We got a little bit left to cover as we walk into position for part 3. So we'll be right back here after a moment from our sponsor, Astrologezus.
So this is what it's come to, huh? Y'all want reels every day? Fine. I'll give you reels. But I ain't gonna dance, though.
Hey yo, you love the sound, kiss the ring in your ears. That's tinnitus, back tinnitus, the unthinkable here. King Arthur, back tinnitus, not the bling in your ear. Patterns forming, Saturn call it, heard it ring from the pier. It's the Lord of the Ringling Brothers, king of the spears. Every ring is a year, many rings in the gears. Clocksmith, watch lips, kiss the ink and wizard. Wizard, wish hard, think it till it gets clear. Zodiac, gang of stars like I sing with Premiere. Earth globes, you on they balls, planets link to the sphere. What you think you my peers? I just blink and appear. I just wink and they cheer. I'm just swinging my spear. Made a spinning typhoon, what I bring is a head. See the spiral when he tips deep, but they drinking the beer. I spike my punchlines, knock them out, make them kiss the rings. Men of puppets, tied to planets, hit with hidden strings. Phoenix with the fire, feather shine on all the hidden things. Kept his 10 fingers on the wheel, but he isn't steering. Each one is tied to a planet, feel him interfering. How they plan it, so don't panic, it's the interfering. Talking to him in his head, but he isn't here. Ring conduct a circle in the track, yeah, that's engineering. They spun in circles trying to find me. Let's disappear, ring around the compass rose. Novel of a chief monk, my gospel make you street jump. Violent in the Z-funk, watch it or you'll be stumped. Logarithm tree trunk, circle every year, ring a bell of remembering. Mind fan, cool off my brain, my propeller swing. Even complimented Adam, it was flattering. Then they both went undercover, had a fling, bust holes inside the firmament dome, but left them scattering. Catapulted up like a stone in the sling. Every year's a new bullet, I'm reloading the spring. 360, that's the target, gotta know when to sting. Put the carbo on the finger, kiss the stone in the ring. My great name exalted, like the Saturn in the Libra sign. Everything you bring has a ring, that's the deepest line. Taurus field, spin around his watch like a peak in time. When every rise hit the ring and connect, like tears from the bullseye. Sat on wings of the jet, sipping from the jet streams. Everything that I met became gold when I touched it. Right ink from Tibet, my feet hit the ground running. This is spring in my step. Superman, what's the spring your mind thinking up next? Born angels in the flesh with the hidden wings. I'm talking angles I connect, it's a different thing. We the royal priesthood, we the wizard kings, planet jewels, orbits are the bands, you should kiss the ring. Born angels in the flesh with the hidden wings. I'm talking angles I connect, it's a different thing. We the royal priesthood, we the wizard kings, planet jewels, orbits are the bands, you should kiss the ring. Mother, father, we started from 2 pillars, anagram spiral. Planets ran cycles, water rings, knew this was the wave from the title. Body split in 2 on the day of our arrival. Gemini, symmetrical form, we ain't rivals. Every man's an atom that spins, we are an Eiffel. Ministrate towers by lean, you are an Eiffel. Knew I had the spirit of the bull when I charged in margin. Stepping over lines, that's a margin. Dice became roll precise, they can't troll. The boats is guide out of control, no handholds, this display of prolific. Rings around your scroll that contain the specifics. More of it stay fresh cause I bathe in terrific. Learn the ways of the mystics. A wave is a spiral from the front if you track the sound. Like a spinning turtle shell is coming back around. Like moon cycles too vital that I snatch the crown. April's a spiral. April is spiral, that means it got around. Extra clip off with their heads swing. A buzz of melodies, metal bees with the lead sting. And chakra lasers kill my doppelganger, that's a dead ringer. Like a phone without a charge, off the head singer. Fed the motor 2 with 5 loads, the daily bread bringer. Lyrics in my head linger, sipping on the med tincture. Visions of a dead inca, wisdom in my head thinker. Weed like the candles in my brain. With a wings through, they call me Green Lantern. The name's got a ring to it, weed to make the planet turn. Even when you're standing firm, secrets that you can't discern. But every blade I swing's fluid, cash checks with O's, making rings like a shooting sport. Jewelers, palm pebbles, sleepy eyes, and going through a port. Freeze, hands up, the human body is a tuning fork. Neptune and fish, super thought, the human cloth, Buddha consumer, who's the boss? Hands of ancestors that be living in my bones touch. More than put the jewels inside the ring around the rose crux, thinking they don't know much. God reborn again, the 3 king circles. Third eye is 3 circles, that's the 3 ring circles. Dogon promoter, decapitate their heads lying. Connect lions, the Voltron controller. Born angels in the flesh with the hidden wings. I'm talking angles I connect, it's a different thing. We the royal priesthood, we the wizard kings, planet jewels, orbits are the bands, you should kiss the ring. Born angels in the flesh with the hidden wings. I'm talking angles I connect, it's a different thing. We the royal priesthood, we the wizard kings, planet jewels, orbits are the bands, you should kiss the ring. Godzilla, zigzag, Zodiac killer. Voltage controller, royal priesthood, and we about to take over.
Voltage controller.
Kiss the ring, baby.
I got 7 chakras, propellers of holy helicopters, breath of Brahma, heaven's opera, spells are very proper. Tell me, do you smell the karma cooking pastas from the past now? Do you see the God breaking knowledge that will last? Celebration wine sparkle like the stars in my glass. Kiss the crescent, mystic presence lifted from the ash. I was last seen skillfully build a supreme math. With a regime last, I'm taking a steam bath. I'm walking a clean path. It gets better, fulfill my inner splendor. Electromagnetism just built for my contender with skills and an agenda to shine with no sense that I climb with no men to define my soul center. I mind you won't ninja with lies. I know into the skies of a gold emperor rose in pure beauty. I'm God well dressed in the robe of yours truly. Dipped the gems fresh when I slept. I spoke jewelry. Chimney on the own. Bothered with no abba. Growing with no umi. Holding a broke Uzi. Just hoping to go smoothie till the music starts to feel like an ocean that goes through me. It's so groovy. Do you feel the sound breeze? Feet in the soil. You can feel it when the ground breathes. Music is a treasure chest. Open with a sound key. They search hard for Solomon's temple. That's when they found me. Follow my credentials. I flow like a pour more bottles from my pencil. God is in my temple. I gotta make them tremble. Paintings from antiquity. Gods that I resemble. Said we gotta be assembled. I got 7 chakras. Propellers of holy helicopters. Breath of Brahma, heaven's opera. Spells are very proper. Tell me, do you smell the karma cooking pastas from the past now? Do you see the God breaking knowledge that will last? I got 7 chakras. Propellers of holy helicopters. Breath of Brahma, heaven's opera. Spells are very proper. Tell me, do you smell the karma cooking pastas from the past now? Do you see the God breaking knowledge that will last? Hey yo, gifted eyesight of the vision of the top czar. Crystallized light on the mission of a rock star. Living the high life. Pistol wisdom on your cop car. Fiction throwing shots yards. Hitting whiskey bottles. Spilling spirits out of lock bars. Like prison uprisings. Oblivion your drop squad. Ace of space facing. I'm living the top card. Extending the hot charge. Electrical mind. Engine dimensional yacht laws. Titanic. Rhyme magic ascension. The God's laws. Moroccan all-star. I'm a reincarnation. Ecliptic teleprompter while I read the stars. Passing through the visualized life. When I spit these Allah, you walk bars. Lift my cup. I ain't invisible. Lock stars in the Taurus field. Sensual. Sensible. Talk to hear the talk is real. I'm talking to the Taurus seal. Abracadabra. Dress the laughter. I'm a joyful meal for your eyes. Appetite. To these lines. Movie mind. Jewelry shine. Smacking these hermaphrodite. Parasites. Torture hell. Burning flames. Warming up a water spell. Sacred geometrical designs in the tortoise shell. I'm on the tortoise cell. Miraculous in thoughts I spell. Deal. Make a real shape. Breathe until it feels greater. I'm never shaking with the hand that my torch is held. Phoenix made of phonics. Man made of talking cells. The son of Samsung. A new tune as my thoughts propel. I got 7 chakras. Propellers of holy helicopters. Breath of Brahma, heaven's opera. Spells are very proper. Tell me, do you smell the karma cooking pastas from the past now? Do you see the God breaking knowledge that will last? Yeah. Bruce Leroy. The truth from no decoy. Hey yo. Lung food, spirit flipping, catch the arrow while blindfold. To know without knowing, searching for the sublime glow. No longer your master taught you everything I know. That's when the master said our time was complete. Told me about the 7 levels I was trying to reach. Kick Rick, go medallion, left to fly through the streets. The beat of unsung joy, seek for some dumb goy. Turn into a wise man, that was some dumb boy. Bruce Lee upon the screen, while they breaking the aisle. Somebody smashed their radio, watch them breaking his style. Sort of walking to the room, shorty breaks in a smile. Hands on his face, points to me, he's praising my style. Fist in my face, surrounded, he's clowning, I can't listen. The secret, erase eyes and clouded by ambition. Listen, he said I got something real for you in these hands. Superman stories about the legendary Z-Man. The Watts Eye, Bruce Leroy, they spoke deep plans with these hands. I give them the beats with no tree brand. Please make a toast with just one glass up. During the show, a fool screaming, shut your dumb ass up. Out the book of life forgiven, only one match struck. But all 50 you come to the stage just for the fun of it. Smashing heads, biting their legs, chopsticks, I'm done, I dipped. Stepped on the elevator, press number 7. I thought I reached the final level, but it wasn't heaven. Kai Elohim, the bars, kissed the rhythm of the nighttime. Begging Vanity to spin the song and get the night fine. But she declined his offer, Eddie was pissed. Lil' bro was in the crowd, catching the kiss. Eye connection while she left and hopped inside of the lift. Caught her slipping by the exit, driver stressing his fist before a strucker caught his hand and put his men in the switch. Helped the rubber eyes connected, then I left in the mist. quick. Eddie was living with his men all bruised. Back at the dojos, on a walk that made me bend to his shoes. Damn, didn't want to do it, had my mans inside a headlock. Reluctantly, my head dropped. Kiss his shoes, got up, picture grew back at the best spot. Logo on the screen, looking fine, it's like a Libra. I get like a diva. I would like to see you. I would like to see her. Fire like a fever, like a lion to the zebra. Even said it'll bring me to if I carry him and rap there. Fashionable cashmere, that crate looks like a half chair. Waited outside, that's when fate would collide. The kidnapped her, but I peeped it, got the place in the ride. Yo, made her watch some garbage video, I kicked in the door. Like notorious for dogs, I threw up hitting all four. Eddie's head in a piranha tank that dripped on the floor. Hide heads need cool water, take a sip that I pour. Next we hit her rest, posted as she slid off her shoes. Like a bird with a hidden nest, I'm missing the clues. Blindfolded, private eye that blinks, the mission is smooth. Record players spinning slowly, couldn't get in the groove. Love is clumsy, kinda awkward, found the gift that I lose. Present things return more valuable than this I can prove. Made a necklace, made an exit, hope that this is excused. Course of love is now rejection, like a kiss that's refused. Wanna smash, gotta dash, what's a nigga to do? Socket to me, I socket to you. Cool breeze blowing through, dancing posse and crew. Where's the master? Here's the laughter, nothing's funny but you. The master's busy acting silly, left me stuck for a few. I was on up stepping in the pizza shop, whole crew with shoulder pads, screaming on his folks' dad. Oh, you mean Junior? Yeah, Junior, things is going bad. Mama throwing dough in their face like strip clubbing. Little bro got tossed in the trash, yo, kick something. Who plays his garbage shit in the glass in the brick oven? It's better than McLovin. Z, I'm the baddest man around, you ain't gotta like me. Just take a chicken-hearted son, now he's gotta fight me. Shut up as they speeding off, hug my mama tightly. They all looking down on me when I'm God Almighty. Hit the heavy bag, imagine the sim. Lord walking, smiling at me while I'm mad at the gym. Said she needs a bodyguard to guard her African skins. Said I should look like a master as she laughed with a grin. So seductive while I'm down the lotus flower that has some bloom. Eddie Arcadian was building up his cast of goons. And my meanest, the baddest and the prettiest. Keep your money, I just wanna smash until he's hideous. I'll bump into Laura, the apology's mine. Took a ride, look inside, surprised and shocked at one time. Kissed her while my brother spying, there's a lot on the line. Like Bruce and his opponent's lair, I jetted not a good time. Once the coast was clear, the folks appeared and tied them up both. Set the stage, the beast had left the cage in silence, they host. Hey my man, but it's looking like when pie gets a hoax. Straight from Daddy Green's pizza, rolling bases I told. I wanna see the master now, put these guys in the yoke. For a fortune cookie machine with hidden lines that I quote. From a master that don't exist, from my third eye isn't broke. My former teacher pointed at me like the lines in the scope. I was born a quiet storm with moving high into slopes. Brought an arsenal of weapons, crept inside with no cloak. Corrupt powers, tied as break dancing, slide from you ropes. Announced me once I hit the stage like I was miming the host. In the zodiac circle in the sight buzz spokes. Each degrees of blade and angle cut the pie in the ghost. Nothing chuck and punch struck him, 25 of them smoke. Took a lie at the rope, tossed aside as I choked. They kept coming, always lost to the arrival of most. My students came to shoot a flame, my troops collided the goat. Tasting Eddie through a warehouse, bullets fly through the toast. Though a ninja starts and darts and turn his guy into a roast. Save my brother from a scuffle, locked inside of us both. Shut up every simple final boss and working it slow. Ducking kicks and blocking punches with berserkers I throw. Many certain blows kick me through the surface exposed. I return the favor, resting while he's hurting. I pose and turn a second, then he vanished. The return with a glow. Who's the master? Boots and battered to the surface below. Like red lightning at his fingertips, you hurting him so. Couldn't say it till I waited in the waters to grow. It's one place I never looked to find the source of the flow. Emerging from the baptism, back dripping like a rich apostle who became Christ. Like the fish couldn't miss the gospel. Saw visions in the mind, swimming with no goggles, no gillies on the kid. Waited but I didn't wallow. The last time I had emerged, Fibonacci spiral, like a Vitruvian man. To the heights I flew, glistening ready as my aura like a supernova. You got the flow, I got the glow, go check the beauty thrower. Can I kick him to the tub? This dude is dookie odor. Z-Way green tokens, what you gonna do to Yoda? Hung him out to dry and see the bullets about to fly. Bow scum suck, put a trigger out and down they crying. And when he came to check, my body was dead. Caught the bullet in my teeth and I stuck inside of my head. That's how my joints got crooked, look how he got tied up instead. Pigs took Laura looking off the side of the ledge. I'm still glowing, still growing to the skies I spread. you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And our last life or death couldn't keep me from you. Hold my hand, sit with me in the groove. I walk in all white. Could you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And our last life or death couldn't keep me from you. So I live forever. Many lives search for hidden treasure, living lecture, found it within. And I'm too rich to measure, miss your nectar, miss the net, miss illumination, misses never, you the circle, and the circumambulation. Stay on point in the center with the perfect grand equation. I greet you with a kiss on your fed out when you awaken. Mother and the son, that's the science of a mason. In time I had to grow beyond the ciphers I was raised in. Achieved the 7 circles and I mastered the globe. 7 Libra seeds, the reason I fall back with the show. Astrologezus, gotta lead us, I imagine it so. Bruce, Zodiac, Roy, Elam, casted in gold. Soul Reaper, flow bleacher, I done shattered the mold. The pattern is cold, your lab is my abode. This path is too cold, it's warm in your presence. Beauty so pure, it was born from the essence. Galore effervescence. Each moment we're together is a reward, it's a present. That's why it's called presence. Brightest fluorescence. Hear ye, feel me, silence all peasants. I spit it all with you if I had 94 seconds. Years, months, days, the science is all lesson. You could be my classmate, beauty in your math shape. Truth you couldn't castrate, a blind film director. This movie, it wasn't half-baked. Zodiac calendar, remembered every past date. Money is time. Spitting every sin with you, cause I'm in love with your shine. Sit with me in the groove, I walk in all white. Could you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And our last life or death couldn't keep me from you. Hold my hand, sit with me in the groove, I walk in all white. Could you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And our last life or death couldn't keep me from you.
That was such a journey.
Such a journey. I'm gonna show you what my cups say.
Mhm.
Enjoy the journey.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, that's the mudras of Allah in my hand gestures. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yes. Yes. We was going there. You know, we was going there. We were going into places and spaces. So I was like, let's just go. You know? You take the blue pill.
You made exactly the right move. You took us to the 7th heaven.
Yeah.
through the rings. And
Then they said if you take the red pill, you stay here in Wonderland, and we show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Okay.
you know what's ill about this? What's ill about this is kiss the rings. The rings of Saturn. Saturn, which is exalted in Libra, the sign of marriage and partnership, where people give rings. Measure cycles. Because you can't get out of a ring. It's not a line. It has no ending. You can't get out of a ring. Rings are forever. Because they go on forever. Just like your chart is a wheel. It's a ring. Somebody could read it a million years from now. Because that's the book of life. And you can't erase that ink, which is in the word think. because it's written in the mind. You can't use matter to remove it. Amina, since you were not here for part one, we haven't really gotten your input on any of this, on the artistic recreation. Oh man, I'm excited to show y'all what's coming, but I can't do that yet. Go ahead. I want to hear what
From the hidden one. What does the hidden one have to say about this artistic recreation? I would like to see her. Okay? I would like to see her. I mean, like, you talking about me? You want to know what I think about what? I would like to see her. Your thoughts
Yeah,
on the video? On the video, the visual, that story.
the Last Dragon videos, the
Yes,
different parts.
the legend.
the legend of.
We have to title it properly, right? The legend
Pardon me.
of Zeroy, right?
My favorite one is the love one, the last one.
That's
The
the last
couple,
dragon.
the last, yeah, that's my favorite.
Skinny little
The
listen like you
music,
thinking
the
you the
love,
last dragon.
the music, the love, the locks on Laura, like that was just, I loved it.
Capricorn again.
Right, yes, Capricorn.
Yes.
Yeah, and she had Venus in Capricorn, I noticed.
Yes.
Venus in
She said, "Get up, Cancer. I got something real for your ass in these hands." That's what she said.
Yo, listen, you lock in with Venus and Capricorn, it's hard to get out of that.
She said, "I would love to teach you some moves, Leroy." That's what she said to him. The car. She was driving the car, and she said it. She just looked over to him like, "Ah, he's so cute." And normally,
play it off like, "Oh no, not me, no."
Look. And then he said, "Is it not hot in here, Miss Charles?" Yeah. Like he was like, "Is it not hot?" And
he said, "Not me, my friend," but he was really making a reference to sex, right?
Yeah, because he got Uranus conjunct Pluto.
And also his chart ruler or his sun ruler in the 8th house in Aquarius. He put it on his friend, but it was really about him.
It's really about him.
He didn't say my friend. He said, "I have this friend."
Because he got Venus in the 12th. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, which is the 11th, the friend of Cancer, and it's the 12th. So I know it's my friend.
Yeah, he said, "I have this friend." See,
His interest.
he likes this girl.
And Mars
He said, this friend and then this girl. And he showed up. Look, right? He showed up in a certain color, right? He was living in the gray area, and she showed up in the gray area with that color on, like they rehearsed it. Because the last time they were together, he was clueless on what she really wanted because he was distraught about what had happened to his family name. When you start thinking about tradition, it doesn't matter how much you're mocked and despised and rejected by your family if you're that one. You're the only one that could fix that disgrace. So he's there. His father was there. His brother was there. But he was the cause of the encroachment. So this is why this was the last place where it happened. So it was a one-on-one situation. This is the part with the Aries that got real. It was a one-on-one situation where he could have just shown up at the beginning of the film if that's what he was looking for. But Julius Julius Carey the third is a Pisces, so this was a pipe dream in his mind. This was something of his own creation. So he set it into motion for their paths to cross, for an encroachment upon where he already was. But he was already in his head. Bruce Leroy was in his head. And the only time he wasn't in his own
He
head,
was fighting himself the whole time, really.
right? The only time he wasn't in his own head is when he was in the head
manifestation of his Mars, an invisible
for Laura Charles, right? So that space where he was at, even to the fact where she had got kidnapped for the second time, he was meditating on the crate. He was sitting on the crate to meditate. So when he wanted to approach back to his space, he had to find his peace. He was meditating, and she came in again. So that was
Gemini in the 12th, kidnapped twice.
right. So she came in there and was like, "Hey," she knew he wasn't ready. So again, what you said about a position versus a role. There was a role of significance that he needed to play in her life, but he wasn't ready. So she offered him a position. He had to elevate to it. He had to seek after it. So even that,
And the two,
those verbal
the
cues,
two were really one.
right? The two were really one. What I wanted to say before we went to break is that she found the parts of him that was lost, and she was able to put them back together. So those aspects that were separated, those aspects to him that had eluded him at the particular moment, she still was able to find that and put them back together. She was like, "What? That thing that looked like a belt buckle? I got it. That thing that looked like a belt buckle, like you placing value on this." And even
That's
before
crazy
her,
she was right. He couldn't see it was a belt buckle, but she could see it was a belt buckle. But she didn't just throw it in the drawer. She went and hooked it up nice. So put this around your neck. If you want to wear this belt
around
buckle
his
around
neck, she
you wanna wear
awarded
this belt
him right
buckle,
there, right?
You just got signed to the rock. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's all right. We're gonna
And
sign
she
you
gave
up.
him a way for him to never lose it again.
I mean, I'm laughing because the whole Capricorn Cancer story. I mean, it's just so perfect. I mean, I'm not trying to make this about me, but I'm kind of triggered.
Please do. Please
It is
do.
about you.
No,
It's
because
about both of y'all. Yep.
Please do.
because I'm telling you, I mean, because I'm sitting here and I'm trying to, but being married to a Capricorn, it's just not that smooth. Maybe if I was a Capricorn and he was a Cancer, maybe it would have worked out. Because at this point, I just remember trying to fit into that role, as I'm a natural nurturer. I'm a mother. I'm a protector. He wouldn't even let me do that. So when I see this movie, it's kind of like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. So neither did
It's
Leroy.
the flip though.
The
It's exactly.
Yeah. So he's
that's why
she was like, "What? So will you do it?" Remember that, right? He's in the passenger seat, right? She's like, "So will you do it?" He's like, "Do what?"
I'm Lord Charles. That's all. Or Charles or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't do this.
Look, now, Sarah, he's right there next to you, right? He's right there next to you, and he's clueless about what's going on. He's right there.
Well, there you go. Right there, what you just said. He's clueless about what's going on. I was never clueless.
Right. So she's like, "Will you take the job?" He's like, "What?"
But everything isn't a business transaction. You got to have balance. See, that's the thing. And when I'm hearing all these things, I think about, and actually facts. You see,
he came back to see it. He came back though. Like he came back. You see, like he came back, and he was back there to ring her doorbell. Right? He was back there to ring her doorbell, and he was leaving. He didn't ring her doorbell.
Kiss the ring.
Right. She walked up
She came back
and
to
saw
kiss the
him.
ring.
He was coming back to make it right. He was coming back to apologize. He was coming back to atone for his transgression. And he didn't even have enough courage to do that. But she was already prepared for him. This is what I was saying about the throne to rule. It didn't look like the ideal situation, but it was the ideal situation already, because there was one thing that she didn't have to discuss with him.
What's that?
Was to defend her.
Not
Was
at
to go get her.
That's what
There was
pre-qualified
nothing
him.
that needed to be said about that. There was no book he needed to read. There was nothing he needed to fucking meditate about. He understood the basic principle in the primordial sense, and he did it without thought or
That's
regard
beautiful.
to his own
That's
station.
beautiful. That's the beautiful part about the movie.
Right.
That's
He's the only one that did it.
Huh?
That's what qualified him, is that he's the listen. If he didn't come, nobody was coming.
So when he came over there to Eddie Arcadian's house, and the mask was taken off, and she looked and seen him and was like, "Oh shit, yeah, okay."
Yeah. He stepped up. Yeah, he did. He stepped up.
Because for the other person that came to her with the drama, she suggested a cop. She said, "Why don't you go get yourself a cop?" There was nothing that she could do in that space, because y'all know she ain't scared easily. We went through all that. Nothing scared her.
Not at all.
Right. She only got up. She only got hurt one time. She got hurt one time.
She got scared when he caught the bullet in his teeth, and she didn't know that he
it wasn't even a scare. It was like it was like she grabbed her wound. She's looking at her. It's like her life left from her. She's looking at her son and her man in the same instance.
Yep.
That's the only time she wept. She wept looking like, oh, like she it's like she grabbed her womb, like her child and her man in the same instance. She's there, right there. And she grabs her little brother. His little brother, excuse me. She grabs his little brother maternally. We don't see her with no children or nothing like that. So instantaneously, she grabs him.
Back to his Mars and Venus and Gemini, his 12th house. In Gemini, she got kidnapped with his brother.
Right.
Tied together.
Yes.
I got you.
She was already in the family at that point.
Right. And he wasn't he didn't have no regard for his brother. All he heard was that she was over there.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It wasn't even no thought. Like, your brother ain't mean to look. Like, he said, I ain't your brother.
The mission changed.
He said, oh, she over there? Oh, say less. Dolo. Let's go.
His brother would have been breakdancing for a while.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he had Uranus in the third. Was that what that was?
Say it again.
Uranus and Pluto and Virgo.
Uranus and Pluto and Virgo is what Uranus and Pluto and Virgo.
Is that what the main character? He had Uranus and Pluto and Virgo, right? Third house, the brother.
Uranus and Pluto and Virgo. See, it's both ways. He has Uranus and Pluto and Virgo, and also Mars and Venus and Gemini and the 12th of the sun. Square that. Both involve the brother. It's missing. Look, what's interesting is this. One of his biggest adversaries throughout the movie wasn't shown enough. These are people he didn't plan on fighting. He was fighting with his brother from the very beginning.
Eighth house.
And he was the last. He was the first one to fight with him and the last one to recognize him. He put the stamp on him.
Lloyd.
That could also be eighth house ruler in the third too, right?
And then he said, "Kiss my hand," right? Like, kiss the ring.
Kiss my hand. Yep, he said, "Kiss the ring."
Is Avery still with us? Is he still on the planet? Is he still alive? Avery.
That's his name?
The little brother. I think that's his real name, right? That's,
Oh, the little one.
what's the little Richie? Richie. Is Richie?
Richie.
Not.
No. He passed away from complications. He had got shot a couple of times, and he passed away from
Oh,
doctors mistreating him.
that's what I was wondering about him. I was just thinking about that.
Leo O'Brien. Leo O'Brien.
You know what's crazy about that?
Uh-huh.
He played his brother in the movie. But that also is the energy. That's Uranus and Pluto and Virgo in the house of brother, and it's Mars in 12th in Gemini too.
Wow.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
So it's like the person Gemini the 12th is like your fake brother, like your movie brother. You know what I'm saying?
What was his sun sign? I'm just curious.
He's gonna come into play next week
Okay, let me see.
because he's part of the connection to hip hop.
Deep connection to hip hop.
Yeah,
That's crazy though, even as an actor.
that's another tale.
Your death can be shown in somebody else's chart that you played a movie
Yep.
role.
This is how this all started, Amina.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yo, listen. There's some people who they may play somebody or role in your life in a movie, and like let's say somebody plays, so let's say somebody plays your husband in a movie, right? Millions of people see this movie. In their mind, you could be with the person you're really married to, and in their mind, you're with that person forever. You know what I'm saying? Forever, for the rest of your life.
Right.
In their imagination.
Like when people think of Angela Bassett, they see.
I was getting ready to say Larry Fishburne. I was getting ready to say that. Yep. They always gonna be together.
Lauren Fishburne, that's his name.
It's not even Tina Turner no more. It is Angela Bassett that plays Tina Turner. It's not even about. It wasn't even about her. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Like it shows how something like that can Pisces seals the wheel. Like something like that takes over people's imagination, and it becomes what could have only taken a few months or years, days, hours. To them, that snapshot is what they remember forever, and it makes a bigger imprint on them, and they fill in all the blanks with that.
Especially if you play a villain, you'll never live that down.
Oh yeah. People, listen,
I got a perfect example.
Just about
people gonna hate you in real life.
Yep.
Like Debo from Friday, and he's a Cancer. I was like, oh, that's right at the 10th. Yeah, Debo and Cancer. Debo from Friday is a Cancer.
Definitely a reason.
Definitely. And he was a villain to the industry because they sought to emasculate him like they often do when he wasn't having it.
Debo?
Yeah.
What?
Because they'll show you and herald you, and then they'll destroy you if you go along with the program, because that's the science of upbreaking.
Have to.
There you go. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely the truth.
Have to build you up enough so that you're tied to strength and people's psychology enough to when they break that, you did the impossible. You was the embodiment of strength. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna share this example real quick, if I could. Y'all know Michael Rainey Jr.?
Yeah, it plays on what's that? What's the show?
On Power.
On Power Book 2, yeah.
Yeah. But he was on Power, right?
Yeah, he was on Power.
Y'all remember his name?
Tariq.
So this is a piercing star. That's what Tariq means. Piercing star.
Mm-hmm.
So this piercing star was so powerful that it made an imprint on the psyche of grown men, women, and children. He was a child,
Mm-hmm.
and they looked at him as if he was not somebody who was a star playing a role on TV.
Yes. Yep.
They talked crazy to this young, they forgot that this was a child. This, like, he was like 16, 17 years old playing this role. This is how much of a piercing star he was and is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you fast forward 6 years later, he's 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's still Tariq. He's never been Michael Rainey Jr., and this isn't the first time you saw him on the screen. Now, if you saw Barbershop 2, y'all saw Barbershop 2?
No.
Mhm.
He was the son in Barbershop 2.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Before Power, it meant absolutely nothing to you.
It overshadowed that.
Yep. And
It
overshadowed.
meant absolutely nothing to you. But as soon as he becomes Tariq,
You gotta be careful the roles you play.
now
The trying
he
to
doesn't. It doesn't matter that he's Tariq until what? Raina gets killed.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter that he's Tariq. Even there, right there, like, yo. The chief complaint to people that was walking up to him was like, yo, you blah, blah, blah. You let your sister get killed.
Yep. Yep.
His twin sister, right? His twin sister. And when all of the fanfare started surrounding Tariq, 50 looked at Tariq, who's a Cancer, his birthday in a couple of days, right? Said, okay, this is how I'm going to stay on TV forever.
Mm.
This model right here, this model of the piercing star, Tariq. This becomes a model for him to imprint in our psyches where he wanted to live forever. He didn't do it in rap. 50 now.
And that's Saturn and Pisces.
Right. So he didn't do it
He
in
was
rap.
stuck in the role.
But he was known in rap as what? A villain. But he couldn't live there. There was something that was always pushing him out in of the limelight. But he got a chance to do it on a TV role that he came into at first. He died and he was resurrected. And now he lives forever. Through that same modality right there. So to Kyle's point, it's right there. Be careful about the role that
You
you
have
play.
to be careful the moves you make because at some point the cement's gonna dry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of us, we listen. When you look at a leaf falling off a tree, it's doing like this. It looks like the leaf is alive. The leaf isn't alive. The wind is. At a certain point, when it's done, when its pendulum swing, it hits the bottom and doesn't move again until you move it. So we're all appearing to be in motion, but we're already still. Appearing to be in motion, like the leaf, moved by the wind, which is the mind. And only what time the leaf doesn't appear to move anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And neither do we. Moved by the wind, moved by mind. Because that's alive. The body isn't. Your phone isn't. But the current that's running through it is. sun. All this ends in imagination. It all ends in the dream. It all ends in where at some point the cement dries. When you're born and you take your first breath, the cement dries because that chart you live with forever. And at some point, that also determines in what position you're going to be solidified.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are statues of people who are war heroes. There's statues of people who are poets. There's statues of all kind of people in different poses, doing whatever it is that they did so frequently that when the cement dried, they dried in that position. So you have to watch what you do and how you move because at some point the cement dries and solidifies. Oh, that right there. You know what's interesting about that? That's Mars and Venus.
Mm.
Mars and Venus are Leo. Which Leo is the villain, the shadow, the Capricorn killer. Because Capricorn is stillness. See, this energy that we're going into lends to what's very still and silent. It's very internal. Capricorn is Saturn in the third house of Capricorn, where the moon is. Silencer. Silent. Listen. With the sun and Mercury together in Cancer, very internal energy, right? But this right here that you're looking at, this is the future.
Mm.
Can anybody, this is what I like to know. I would like to know from each of you what you think is happening here. What do you think is happening here? Because a still picture can tell so much. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Right? Now it's born. What's happening there?
In the words of Captain Planet, let our powers combine.
Exactly.
I love Mars and Venus together.
Mars and Venus are together right now in your 7th house.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, let our powers combine. Take action, Leo. Right, to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you see the aura, the glowing. Shine. Mars and Venus both shining, but what? They don't shine an energy of it in their own. So Venus is shining because it's a Leo, but it's shining with its aura,
Mm-hmm.
with that green. Mars is shining too, but it's shining with its own aura, which is very different. Despite the fact that they're both in the same time and they're going to take action, if you confront either one of them, you're going to have a different battle on your hands,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not going to tell you what the difference is. You just have to find out. Because this is the return of the last dragon. This is the seed, because Cancer is the seed quill.
Hmm.
Oh, what's happening here? What is this? I like how it's partially cut off at the top too, which adds to the mystery of it all. What's happening here? This is a Cancer question.
I mean, somebody's about to give birth to an idea. It's merging. It's the merging. It's the product of that. That's what that is.
You know what's interesting? As I was listening to your response to that, every single one of these, and there's just a few out of many. Every single one of them capture something very significant about that full moon chart. See, because Venus is this is also Venus is a woman or a couple. Mars is a male energy.
It's the culmination of that energy. Those two energies.
Right.
I love Mars and Venus together. I love relationships where we have, it doesn't matter, Mars, Venus, it doesn't matter which one I am. I love it.
Yeah, Mars and Venus are natural partners.
Yep.
And Leo is the child. So Mars and Venus and Leo is another manifestation of that.
I love that.
And Leo.
And also the Sun in Cancer as well. Did I hear Mina?
She was saying she loved Mars and Venus together. I was saying that must be your Mars in the 7.
He just said that.
Leo.
Yeah.
Love.
I love
Because
it.
I love Mars energy too. But I'll be like, oh yeah, it's in Leo.
I love that energy.
Right. I mean, it represents love. So love is very much in the energy, what we love. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind, watch this. From the perspective of Cancer, what you have, second house, Mars and Venus and Leo, what you love, holding on to what you love. From the perspective of the full moon in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn and Pisces. And Pisces is the 8th house, the Scorpio house, the house of death and transformation for Leo, which is the second house of Cancer. It represents heavy gains, heavy losses. It represents serious transformations. It represents the solidification of processes. It represents necessary responsibilities. It represents things that you have to release or take on. This is action, Mars and Venus and Leo, versus something that is very still and solid. Right? Like the child in the womb in front of us. What appears to be very still and solid becomes very, very active, Mars and Venus and Leo. So, that right there is also the full moon too. Cancer is the womb. Capricorn is, as it begins to grow, it hardens to protect it, right? So that's the natural balance between the two. Like the crab has a shell. shelter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shelter. Shelled her. Who shelled her? Saturn. So she could be shelter. Shield. So what do y'all think is in there?
What was the
Simple.
question?
Huh?
What was the question?
So what do y'all think is in there? That's a container. What's in it?
I mean, it's a baby in there.
This much is true.
That's a baby.
But is it Mars or is it Venus? And whose baby is it? That's the mystery here, because y'all don't know the story.
That's another story, right?
That's the story that's coming.
Yeah. I'll wait for the
We're not-
story. I don't want to guess.
Yeah, we're not gonna give all the answers yet. Just propose the right questions. Like this full moon is gonna do. Propose the right questions. In order to get the right answers, you gotta ask the right questions. We have all the keys in the world. If you don't know the lock to open, it's useless. You have to ask the right questions.
May I say that I like the direction this is going in, because we all know that this wasn't a part of that movie. So now we're going off. This is you're allowing the charts to write the movie, the rest of the movie, part 2 of the movie.
You're very perceptive there, you know.
I mean,
You're very perceptive.
that's pretty genius. I can't
Yeah,
wait to
you're
see.
allowing the charts to. So now here's the question: am I allowing the chart to write the movie, or is the chart alive and the chart is writing it itself?
The chart is alive and writing itself. Just because we're talking about, this is their composite, right? That we're dealing with at this point. Or what are we dealing with? Is synastry composite? It's the composite chart.
Is there synastry? Is there composite? It's the full moon? It's all of them, because whatever, that's the law, right? The law is on the scales at the moment, so we're in the court at all times. And so when we look at the current energy, it's going to tell what's going on right now exactly. So whatever's in the energy is what is the story. That's the story right there, because the energy is writing the story.
Okay. The energy is writing the story. So she looks like she's about 9 months pregnant. So are we having this baby next week, or what are we doing?
We are gonna have this baby next. This creative return.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna give birth to the return of the last dragon. The next legend, because the legends of Bruce Leroy, right? So we gotta know what happens next. Hey, KB, you there? I'm not. I'm just taking a nap. I think there's another one of those, but you may have to wait for it. I think it's good too because this energy is, as I said, it's very mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
The ruler of the full moon is in Pisces. It's all about mystery. It's all about not knowing everything that's coming next. Pisces is a veil, like smoke is. I see things moving. Now, he knows anything about this too. It's also very Capricorn-like.
Mm-hmm.
And so this story takes on a certain Capricorn feel to it. Because it's fueled by a different motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we continue something like your solar return, right? Could be the sun's in the same position, same character. Everything else is arranged a little bit differently. So I'm sure we're wondering who this guy is. Who is this?
Who is it? Who is that?
Who is he?
I don't know who that is.
We know nothing about him.
He doesn't ring a bell. In the main story, the original story, I don't remember this character.
He was there.
He was there. Was he in the
there.
back?
That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say he was there. I'm not gonna tell you who he was, but I'm gonna say he was there.
Oh, this is getting good.
He's the evolution
Mm-hmm.
of somebody who was there all along, right? Somebody who popped up, but never really. They made a brief explosive appearance, and then that's all you heard.
During the fight scene, or
Well, I mean, you kind of could say that.
because there was one fighter. Well, okay. Well, I'll just wait. I don't want to because I think I know who that character. Well, I remember one.
You teetering like a mofo.
I know. I'm just gonna leave it alone. But I think I know who that is because there was one person that stood out. He was, but yeah, I think I know who that is. And I have not seen this movie since 1985, by the way.
Oh wow! Well, I mean, it's still fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I remember.
Got in the fights, like we're talking about things that stick. Well, for me, I haven't seen it since 2 days ago, probably. We knew history. So the story has to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the right paintbrush, then you can paint it. Because it already exists. Every story that has ever been told already exists. Like your story. Your story existed before it existed. Before you were living out the experiences you're having now.
Mm-hmm.
Your story was already written. Within the circles and the rings, like those who came before you, each generation is another ring. Each ring contains all the rings within it, right? So right now you're the biggest ring that contains all the rings that came before you inside of you. And then the next one that comes after you is a ring that contains you in it. It's all in there.
Mm-hmm.
So before you were able to even conceive the idea of a story, yours was already written. And we start to remember some of it, and then it rings a bell, right? And we're talking about here to go back and ring her bell. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because Pluto was in Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because Saturn is in Pisces.
Did you say vanity?
Say what?
Did you say vanity?
What about vanity?
No, I thought that's what you said. Never mind.
I was talking about her, but I didn't say her name. Or maybe because you intuited that. Point is, Pluto is retrograde. Saturn is both retrograde. Pluto is retrograde in the partnership house of Cancer, and in the sign where the full moon is. So we're tied to certain people based on birth, Capricorn. And then when you think you get away from that Pluto retrograde, Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, which is also retrograde. So again, that's why we're talking about the return. To you can see the next ring because it was already in the other ring. It was already there. I said, yeah, that character, you don't know who he is, but he was already there. All this represents that which was already there. You just didn't notice it, but it was already there. This offers you no new information, just a twist on old information, which is new. And that's even deeper. You know how many books you probably have in your house right now that have information that you've never looked at that was right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You go look something up, you might have a book on it. I forgot you did. But there's information in there that later on you end up saying, wow.
I did open this one.
Look at that, at hand's reach. Look at that. I love that. See, you know, at some point, we're going to, just like the way we break down these movies, we're going to have a segment. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a segment
one.
to get into those. To get into those.
What is that knowledge? Psychodynamics? I can't. Oh, okay. Black on black violence. Self-annihilation. Who wrote that? Amos. Okay. Dr. Wilson. Wilson.
Okay, so that brings up a very important aspect that's coming, right? Leo again deals with the youth. Mars is the planet of violence. Mars is approaching a deadly aspect to Pluto. But the thing about Mars and Pluto, and the thing about this aspect is, it's not a direct conflict, it's an internal conflict. Mars and Pluto, and Amina can speak on this because she has Mars. Anybody that has Mars Pluto knows.
Maybe she got a square, a semi-square or something. I'm sorry.
Where Mars Pluto brings up the fight for life, the extreme tug of war between life and death. But see, for those who don't have the will, Mars and Pluto can represent taking yourself out also. So this brings up, especially in a quincunx like that, right? People who are going through troubles, who are dealing with sorrows and things of that nature, and the weight, hidden weight, Saturn and Pisces, right? Mars and Pluto can be a very self-transforming energy for better or worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know all
So
about
it's
that.
important to be aware of that because that energy can be very extreme in one way or the other, but it's an extreme transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you transform for the better, then that's a
Mm-hmm.
suicide. It's a lower self suicide. It's a layer that's released so that you can move up to a higher level. So there's going to be a lot of release that's in this energy too. But it's layers. It's still you. The closer you get to the center layer, the closer you get to you. Like flower petals as they fall away. Amina,
Yeah, I'm here.
I want to know if you have any finalizing thoughts that you want to tie into the full moon, or that you want to impart in regards to that.
Mm, as far
Well,
as the movie,
this, the movie is only one example of the narrative that the full moon is telling. And if you pay close attention to it, it's all in
really,
Mm-hmm.
there. Absolutely is.
like relationships and
All of
that's interesting. But I don't know. It's like for me, it's my 12th house, so I've been just 12th house, and so my downloads have been a little different as far as this moon. But it has been a lot more about like other Capricorn, Capricorn related stuff as opposed to 7th house related. Um, and 12th house too. So it's been very Capricornian and 12th house. Um, but as far as the movie, I feel like it's the energy. I can say that it's about just to bring it and tie it in with a 7th house in a 7th house manner. I feel it does speak to a lot of relationships that are destined, not only just like coming together that are destined, not only just for, earthly Capricornian purposes, but also with that Piscean quality.
it.
So it's like spiritual purpose, spiritual um, destiny, or spiritual rank, or some sort of spiritual like building in sense. And I feel like relationships who are not committed to that, commitment, Saturn, and Pisces, the spirit or the unseen or source, or just being tapped in with source and nature. Um, and of course, many other things. But I do feel like those are going to be a lot of relationships, especially because we're in a Venus, shadow period. So not only are we talking about Saturn being retrograde for this full moon,
Mm-hmm.
and Saturn being in a very tangible. You know, Saturn is very 3D, Pisces is not. So it's like a
It's
lot of
intangible.
relationships. Yeah, like people who have been courting and dating based on the tradition and based on, you know, their father or their parents said so, or especially because the Saturn is in the ninth, Saturn in the ninth too. So I could see like a lot of relationships potentially breaking up because they realize like, oh, we were only together because, you know, at first we were both Christian and now.
You know what it is too. Saturn and Pisces is pretending. It's pretending to be committed to something. It's
Mm-hmm.
fake rings, fake agreements, fake contracts. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's being tied to something that isn't what you thought it was,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I just saw an
Yeah.
article today, and it was talking about how the Z's, the Generation Z's, are like more detached from their families and estranged from their families. Like you see, like these structures that have been traditional that are breaking up. Like it was an actual article talking about how people are just kind of leaving their families, just different things of that nature, any kind of relationship. All the tradition is kind of breaking apart. I've never seen an article like that before. I saw that today. Well, yesterday.
Because I people too, yeah, they got together based on some sort of religious or some sort of belief.
Yeah.
Saturn and Pisces the ninth, and now they're like, wait a second, I don't believe in this anymore, or
Yeah.
I'm not a
Exactly.
Christian no more. But me and my partner got married because his dad's a pastor and my mom's the deacon. And so we've been married for
Mm-hmm.
15, 12 years. And I've grown out of the Christianity mindset, whereas the other person in the relationship probably going full throttle in their Christian path.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a conflict. So yeah, I think that's just an example, but just on other levels, it's like
Mm-hmm.
people coming together based on deeper spiritual purpose and meaning and
Mm-hmm.
truth and or beliefs rather
Yeah,
or
you have to
whatever.
be. You know,
A lot.
it's being committed to a shared dream.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that.
People who see the same vision that you see that isn't yet visible.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
Capricorn is all about building. But
yeah. I guess.
you have to build with somebody who sees things that, let's say, like there's something you want to create. It doesn't exist. It can't be touched. It can't be held. For someone that aids you in that, they have to share. They have to be able to see the vision of it, right? It has to be in their mind too.
Mm-hmm. They gotta be the capacity, ninth house of the vision. And
Right.
I think it's too like I've been just getting like more of a governmental connection from it,
Mm-hmm.
and like ninth house, like it's just this so-called governmental structure as we know it, or what we thought was the government or the corporation or the U.S. or whatever we want to consider that Saturn energy to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
breaking down as we know it, and so it's really about
Losing
um
control.
yeah, losing control, but also are you willing to build it up for you, for your family, for your clan, for
Right.
your tribe or what have you? Because yeah, it's really Capricorn energy. Whether you hate the government or not, that energy is never leaving. So it's either you're going to parent and govern yourself, or some other Capricornian energy.
We all need it.
Yeah,
Like every person got the Saturn.
some other governmental structure will govern you. So I feel personally, I haven't really been picking up on the seventh house for myself personally, but I've definitely been hearing like get your affairs in order, like your national, the nation, national with the spiritual, or the national and the divine. I've been picking up on more of that type of Capricorn messages
Mm-hmm.
Because when Saturn moves into Aries, it's a new boss in town. That's a new boss, new authority structure. So, yeah, that's what I've been really picking up on. But yeah, I could definitely see, what I see for the long-term relationships that were built on sand. Saturn and Pisces is like trying to build on sand, and it has been built on sand, and people are starting to see, wow, we've been together all this time and it's been built on sand or built on water, really. How you gonna build a castle in the ocean?
That's straight up pixie
But
dust.
That's a fact.
yeah, like couples been building on the ocean and wondering why it keep getting washed away.
I like that a
So
lot.
yeah, but other than that, to tie it in with the movie, on a positive note, I do see a lot of beautiful couples realizing, like, spiritually we're connected, spiritually, etherically we are bonded, and let's do this. Like, let's build and connect on this dream, or this intuitive, receiving of energy or message that we are, telepathic message, metaphysical divinatory message we're getting, and let's build on that, even if it don't make sense to anybody else but us. So I get that too, and I think that's kind of probably what it was in the movie. They're like, wait, she's a star and you're like a corny cornball wannabe, or whatever they, however they really saw him. Like, he just wasn't, he was like corny or nerdy, according to his brother and everybody around. But until he had to,
But she was
he
one
had
of
to
the
step
first
in
that
that
saw him as a master.
power. Right, and he had to see it for himself though, for it to really activate. And so yeah, I think that was awesome.
Right. So Moon and Capricorn in the seventh. Who cares about what you're building and what your dream is? Saturn and Pisces. Shared dreams. The merging of shared dreams and goals. Because every goal really, Capricorn's third house is Pisces. Every goal is thinking about something that isn't physical yet. Capricorn has to think in imagination. And speaking of that, and I was born. I think this will be, before we go out, I want to take them back through that journey one more time. Because I want to leave them with making sure you remember what I said, and that these events that unfold in that story are encapsulated into the energy of this full moon, in which each of us live out a unique narrative that has to live or has to subscribe to the laws of what's written there. So we're each living out this story. We're reviewing this story because we're living this story in some way. So their relationship, that's why I ended it with that fourth part, because that moment that they captured in the end, I wanted to take that one moment and make it larger, make it bigger, because it was meaningful, it was potent, and it was really the goal of the whole story. Because in the beginning, she came down by herself, right? In the end, they went up together, right? And that was the whole goal. She came down. That's why she came down to get him to go back up. He had no plans of going there. He didn't want to go to heaven. That wasn't his plan. He had his own rooftop to meditate on. But he was forced to go to seventh heaven, where he ended up wearing white and ascending. So I wanted to take that moment and expound on it. Made it a high line. I made it a high song.
Oh,
See, I want to bring him back to that again because next week we're gonna go into the marriage between the martial artistry and the musical artistry. And then we're going to take that and tie that into the next story that's coming, which continues where this left off. So you get the 4 here, and then you get the next 3, which makes the 7.
are you ready for the pendulum swing?
No way.
We live in a place now that feels just about like a plantation. We're all indentured servants. When I found out there were 8 presidents before George Washington, I wanted to smack somebody. You know, I wanted to know why I was taught otherwise. Just tell me the whole story. I'll fill in the blanks.
Are you ready for the pendulum swing? That brings us back on the top, where we meant to be kings. They say my mental has wings. Too brilliant for you. Introducing a man who embodies a revolution. Time within my DNA, thoughts beyond human. There's only winning I fought beyond losing. Cop street fight in the court style. Your jurisdiction is rooted in pure fiction. Make the captain jump ship, either exit or execution. My music shock and eclectic electrocution. I always said when I reach heaven, I'm never moving. Truman Show, the stage became small. There ain't no room to blow. My vibe is so high in the hood, I'm like a UFO. Marty McSide, I got that back to the future glow. Our backs against the law cause we forgot what we used to know. Return of the ancient ones. Why the smart playing dumb? You looking so lame when I rhyme. Put you to shame for fun. You being chased when freedom's at stake. I make the agents run. Every zombie's a potential god, sleepwalking. Freedom's calling to you wake inside a deep corking. Rockin' moccasins, popping enough fedora and pouring bottles of incredible thoughts of my supporters. But you ain't take the time for exploring your own orbit, so you trapped in a trap and you cornered on the corner. The cheese you rats is chasing ain't worth the half of this course in your galactic god warrior, rapid and odd formula. Pay attention when I stand at the podium. You rappers check for bars, I'm checking who's gotten over them. And it ain't even that you weak when you rap. You bring scoop and get the puddles like you deep when you lack the basic nutrients for me to even eat you for snack. Smack you brutally, and I ain't even need to attack. But trying to be on trap beats instead of being in the trap.
The Negro is still languished in the corners of American society.
I don't fear, oh no, my soul. you catch your breath. Cool off for a minute, 'cause we about to turn it up. Because I ain't scared like your parents these days to say your music sucks. But I got news for us. That ain't your music, that's a government experiment geared to shoot your future up. Like Sierra Leone, not the singer, he without sin. I threw this capstone at all you thinkers. The judgment bringer, I come with 100 Incas. Cacao Olmec, my queen's the color of Medina. Avocado mask, skins like butter on the features. My window never had the smoke screen of non-believers. And these days you can't tell the dawns from who's the deepest. I'm hot before the fever unlock the door that keeps you in prison and hard to reach it with wisdom from out the ethers. My record is an ancient script. Historians be reaching in they crazy to get. My creative gift is an ancient myth told for generations. The soul of many nations and one man who's taken the head of plenty sayings. The day spinning slip through my fingers just like grains of sand. You feel you hate, I am the sun here to awaken man. The dawn of a new day, rise and get ready. My mind, it gets heavy while blacks dance. Connect the words melanin and melody. Don't meddle with the pedals, be gentle on the brakes. Your body is the world's soup when they sent you from outer space. Murder without a case, a burglar without a safe. Through each hole they spiral kundalini like a shoe. The serpent is like the lace, dispersed without a trace, like ghosts without a face. In this life, my soul's out of its place. Who's the Anunnaki from planet rock flow is amazing grace. God bless me with telepathy, excellence to ecstasy, submersion of the continent. Probably make an extra C. I'm making extra me. Binary star system programmer for Mars destiny. Planetary projection of light that makes holograms. Hollow man made of space dust, Akashic sand. Nirvana, the promised land. I've written upon a lamb. Invisible sonogram predicted the common man. Give tickets for web traffic and digital contraband. Hold up a lost call and admitting that I'm the man. Peace. No doubt. Alright. From a cosmic gravesite, buried in dark matter, one page in the book of life became lengthened in large chapters. You can't spit your song after a lyrical born master with spiritual core valor. Each lyric is stars hammered, don't bicker with horse manners. I'm gifted with more answers for lyrics that cause cancer, verbal intercourse, tantra. Yo, PR to Atlanta to Lemuria, Atlantis. Yo, they can't handle this. Didn't read the manuscript. My ship just appeared on the earth without landing it. Then I vanished quick.
But what if the people who told you that you wasn't from there actually received checks and actually swore oaths? Not to tell you what you really are. So they can walk around and beat you and take advantage of your birthright and inheritance without you catching on to it. What you have been taught is that you're not from here. You've been taught that you're an alien.
And you don't even challenge it even in your own mind. That's slavery. And it's a pact you just made with them. And so you've agreed to a fraudulent jurisdiction that they created. And then it makes it legal because you're great.
So when you're out of your culture, you are out of your living mind. And it's very dangerous when somebody else defines your thought pattern. And whose education are you getting? You can't get a good education in these universities. What I'm teaching you today, none of it came from their institutions. Brothers and sisters, your best education is to go to the source. Go to the source.
I say now, give us that poetry on number 7.
He wanted to go to heaven, so I took him in seven. You took him in seven. Oh, I'm the king of the world. Hold it. You're not that great. I'm a bad man. I shook up the world. I must be the greatest. I told the world. I talk to God every day.
I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. Yeah, I rob thunder, saw the blind wonder. I heard he's amazing, he's making his own shrine. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. Yeah, I know you hear me. There's no theory, no lesson. So where are you waiting for you'll be fine. Greatest of all time, mastering the clock, circumnavigate your block. His brain is a gold mine. Greatest of all time for health. I'm so patient, I waited on alkalines, intelligent elevation. Cause the moon to the head of the great awakening. Remove because the music you playing is asinine. Capricorn goat had to face a long climb. Made it to the top, now the stage is all mine. You're facing the wrong sign. Arabian thought wine make up for the lost time. Just remember who was there when nobody respected you. Nobody was checking for you. Like a watch displaying the wrong time. You get what you asked for, quit what you rapping for. All lives matter, seen that some lives matter more. I'm not your average mortal, Taurus bull matador. Spirit that appeared in the flesh through the matador. Till we bring the empathy back, some minds have to pour. I'm all that and more, take you on a magic tour. Greatest of all, that's for sure. Your flow isn't half as pure. Out the sky ministry, balance the flower symmetry. Rappers ain't reaching my height, they ain't that mature. The music catalog looking like a whack brochure. Need to fold already, I see my goals, I'm steady. I'm speaking gold confetti in front of your globe assembly. We don't have to crawl, we can crack the wall with herbs so loud. I'm puffing that yolks out the door, strong enough to open my nose and inhale a basketball. When you last scored, your ancestors moved. We don't have the same goals, we game at a different backboard. Learning from different schools, displayed on a different blackboard. We been blackballed, since we been black, y'all. When we been last called, check your phone log. I accept my soul's job to correct my own laws. I stay awake, you never know me to nod unless I'm in agreement over hot beats playing. Put my message in the cement like a Hollywood star. I'm oldest with a tablet like a giant iPod. Whispers in the wind, climb the higher heights, God. There's no freedom if you fear for your death. Got the cherry tunnel in the experience of flesh. The theories isn't as fresh. I clearly got the finesse and fear my intellect. Clearly it's just a mess. I found it with you're impressed. I vowed to be the best. My crown that can break your neck. Years of protect mission so heavy. It appears I'm clearly the best living, uplifting. My religion is the holy intellect. Solar ball game, your theories can't intercept. What's failing for being me's your idea of success. The criteria to say that blank here is the best. Insert the name on the tombstone, these words in the frame. Another so and so I murdered in the words I exchanged. Phoenix King, suddenly I burst into flames. Your imaginary world is but a theory, I bet. You ain't close to me, I give you 10 years to confess. These artificial heart crystals, I ain't here to impress. Many suffer from within but appear to be blessed. The ones closest ain't the ones that always hear you the best. I see Mother Earth spilling more tears from her breast. You can't eat sorrow, you see it better tomorrow. I know where I'm headed, intelligent people follow. To understand the hole in the earth that's going hollow. With our vision, I ain't seeing it all through false goggles. Explore novels, human is your apostle. This music is pure gospel. Crushing the revisionist, stuck in cognitive dissonance. Gotta remain vigilant. From one sharp point, I pop the bubble of a hypnotist. Underhanded villainous. The ones that grant privileges in exchange for the true rights that life's given us. Color brand businesses, understand the inference. God speaks through me, I'm a son of man, triloquist, rubber band physicist. We get a grip, snap back to reality. Who can come after me? You ain't ready yet, you should get back to me. Grab the microphone like you should give that to me. Pictures couldn't capture me, the magic in your majesty. Dressing so sharp for the gala in the galaxy. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. Yeah, I rob thunder, saw the blind wonder. I heard he's amazing, he's making his own shrine. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. Yeah, I know you hear me. There's no theory, no lesson. So where are you waiting for you'll be fine. Come adapt to the adept. Zodiac, I made a pact at the apex, stronger than the ape's pecs. Any test, I'ma pass it like a rain check. Liquid assets like mermaids we stripping. First rate magician, earth space collision. Oracle grenades, pouring visions on my brain specs. Circuit board, your mental plate high in yellow jacket. Tyrannosaurus, Aperex, Velociraptor, Shaman ladder, climbing to the main step. Putting solar bodies about the Thor train wreck. Rocket of Gibraltar, Hercules pillars left aside in Gamora, Gemini, Tupac. Is it chakra or Shakora, Torah? Tube ox, the Andromeda, Aurora, Taurus torpedo. Shot him about the water. 1,000 petal golden lotus blossomed out my aura. Grand and unusual plans of Manson musical. Captain Planet reader, my temple's Law's address. Meet me at the pinnacle. Pineal Polaris, mountain summer clouds above a genie in the palace. Uranus reposes sun ingenium Solaris. Ground root procedure, sound booth Khalifa. Put the head books, I read Mount Kuf to Keitha. Father the new leader, impossible view dreamer. My unicorn semen, each drop is a womb cleaner. Phenomenal truth speaker, it's my duty just to glisten. Pyramid cyclops, count the rubies I be spitting. Do you see the fixed signs and the beauty of a griffin? Kabbalah zodiac back, view me in the kitchen, making tree of life smoothies from the fruit of my fruition. My sound is panacea, they don't believe it. I'm Ka-gregation. King David Letterman, Astrologezus, God with the 7 hands. Try to enter my trident denture. It's the Neptune weapon in the side of Electra. Signs of my lectures, primordial stealth. Solar body Zoom meeting, sending thoughts to myself. This light speed, bright weeds like Lemurian kelp. They don't understand the plan and the formulas dealt. Reincarnate just to pass the torch to myself.
Because you never know what they're going to do, but then again, on the other hand, you are the God. What is your agenda? So what they do here is they take us out of our agenda by making you focus on fear, on what they're going to do next. Who gives a... Whatever they do, they've already done it to us, and we didn't even know about it.
Yo, I write so many bars, this is Jasmine Taz, Alcatraz, slowly hopping out the jag. Biggest, most latest chips fresh like they spit out the back and label me without the tag. My science is right out the lab, killing all the doubt you had. Smooth as ever, super feathers, looking like we grew together through forever. Shoes of leather, human sweater, solar vessel, show you that my flow is special. You a treasure, living jewel, taking you to spirit school. Mr. Cool, wisdom view, hungry minds love to dime. Praying in my stomach shrine, hatred is a colorblind. Ancient with a young design, patient with a cup of wine. Holy grail, no sombrero. Playing through the cobra scales, spit a tune. Big consume the food, try to steal the moon. Skeleton with say your tune. Skinny dip within the hips. Send my shit between the lips. Come again, odd fate. You can reincarnate. Umi is a stargate. Beauty that the law makes. Drew me in the heart shape. I shot Cupid with a bullet that I lost straight. Right between the night and gleaming dawn. I'm sure the light's a dream. Gotta shot my light extreme. Vision quest, introspect. Imhotep, intellect. I pass but never intersect. Parallel, magic spell. In effect, indirect. Find me on the internet. Guided by a silhouette, hoping we can still connect. Poems of a skillful vet, walking through the narrow hall of alcoholic basketball, taking shots and missing them. Patience is a discipline, fate will make you live again. Statuesque master chef, this is life after death. Rip the mic, have the next. Music for the seeds, you can blast us in your bassinet. Is your life master yet? Study your rising sign, did the right mass connect? One step at a time, develop my mind like a mental weightlifter. That essential brain twist to help me get in the rain quicker. How the Christian saints differ. 12 signs, zodiacs, twist the same picture like you sipping strange liquor. May wisdom remain with her. Beauty's a mirage, quit the human sabotage. Earth for you to master lodge. Sure I am, words of man, walk across the burning sand. Always had the urge to plan. Watching as my world expand, a spot you don't deserve to stand. Royal the grand choir, joy of the man's fire. I got so much love in my circle, I stand higher. My blood is so pure, it could poison the vampire. Oil the land miners, knowledge the born fire. Get added another cipher. Passing to the Christ pure, and actually I'm quite sure my magic is the right cure. Pass it on your flyer, supply and demand. For the asker and the buyers, I'm the actual messiah in the natural attire. This is science for the lands. How they think they touching me, really, I don't understand. Science for the lambs, universal orchestra, guided by my hands. Moves to the craft, lions and the rams. Mind over matter, I am over rappers like sky is over land. got it by my hands. Move to the craft, lions in the rams, mind over matter. I am over rapid like tigers over land. King, the immortalized man to a titan. Superman the man, fill my hands with the lightning. Eyes hold forever, understand, be enlightened. Superman the man, I expand your horizon. King, the immortalized man to a titan. Superman the man, still I am is exciting. Eyes hold forever, understand, be enlightened. Superman the man, raise your hands, I'm arriving. What if tree of life fruits that we plant didn't ripen? I'm the man with the trident from the hands of Poseidon. I ain't never been stiller than my hands when I'm sniping. I made they been stiller laser beams from my eyes and something about Mary sat with Christ and the wise men. Shining on my sun return while icing on the cake. Roman candles got it covered like the icing on the cake. The frost stings like the bite of a snake. Wings on the boulevard, guess the lions awake. Bottled in my flesh suit, so the brightness won't escape. Thinking I'm a man when I'm a bolt of lightning on the break. An escaped angel, clearly trying to hide amongst the apes. Mystic science is awake. This is window psilocybin. When you've been as still as I am, but traveled everywhere at once. Who bends the will of iron? When I was sent to kill the skyman, been an iron with a thought. No, I'm so high they can't relate. They've been denying I'm the boss. I'm an agent of fate. I ain't ancient like 8. That's infinite. I am ancient. I ain't made it. Quite amazing. I am raising the gate. Between the spirit world and matter, I remain with no weight. Like a first in line, Superman, Manchurian candidate. Bright crystal stones glisten, come and polish the rock star. God's plan's the greatest, that's astrology, rock bar. Time is fast hands, I be watching the clock spar. King, the immortalized man to a titan. Superman, the man, fill my hands with the lightning. Eyes hold forever, understand, be enlightened. Superman, the man, I expand your horizon. King, the immortalized man to a titan. Superman, the man, still I am is exciting. Eyes hold forever, understand, be enlightened. Superman the man, raise your hands, I'm arriving. Superman landscape, drew me in the landscape. He spoke supreme math to the humans, he would translate. Beauty in the ant shape, cue me when the plants wake. Springtime clock gears, Gucci in the handshake. Overlap, wrote the rap, lyrics on the finish line. 2 Jesus. How you playing, reach the cusp, rolling off the spin line. Bowing like a twisted spine, blowing up like stiffened lines. Glowing sun, cryptic signs. Swedish fruit growing on the thinnest vine. Aquarius the Taurus, transformed from mandible. Nasty Gnostic, the world is Jaws, that's a mandible. Mr. Tricky, happy Ghostbuster. Pendable, bamboo, fool for minds empty but their hands are full. To masturbate emotional tricks that they don't plan to pull. Tales of the Morris Narries that walk with half-breeds. Atlanteans that cross with man seeds across the Andes. Carrying the bloodline of God until their hands bleed. Bullets I already heard coming, that's a stampede. Remix the rail, you can base your post off his. Jump them on next like vampires when they can't feed. King, the immortalized man to a titan. Superman the man, fill my hands with the lightning. Eyes hold forever, understand, be enlightened. Superman the man, I expand your horizon. King, the immortalized man to a titan. Superman the man, still I am is exciting. Eyes hold forever, understand, be enlightened. Superman the man, raise your hands, I'm arriving.
The Zodiac-a-thon continues. And more thought food is on the menu. The 7th heaven is where I'm going to send you. Or where you should ascend to. No matter what you've been
Yeah. Bruce Leroy, the truth from no decoy. Hey yo, lung food, spirit flipping, catch the arrow while blindfold. To know without knowing, searching for the sublime glow. No longer your master taught you everything I know. That's when the master said our time was complete. Told me about the 7 levels I was trying to reach. Kick Rick on medallion, left to fly through the streets. The beat of unsung joy, seek for some dumb goy. Turn into a wise man, that was some dumb boy. Bruce Lee upon the screen while they breaking the aisle. Somebody smashed their radio, watch them breaking his style. Saw them walking to the room, shorty breaks in a smile. Hands on his face, points to me, he's praising my style. Fist in my face, surrounded, he's clowning, I can't listen. The secret, erase eyes and clouded by ambition. Listen, he said I got something real for you in these hands. Superman stories about the legendary Z-Man. The White Side, Bruce Leroy, they spoke deep plans with these hands. I give them the beats with no tree brand. Please make a toast with just one glass up. During the show, a fool screaming, shut your dumb ass up. Out the book of life forgiven, only one match struck. But all 50 of you come to the stage just for the fun of it. Smashing heads, biting their legs, chopsticks, I'm done, I dipped. Stepped on the elevator, pressed number 7. I thought I reached the final level, but it wasn't heaven. Kai Elohim, the bars, kissed the rhythm of the nighttime. Begging Vanity to spin the song and get the night fine. But she declined his offer, Eddie was pissed. Lil' bro was in the crowd, catching the kiss. Eye connection while she left and hopped inside of the lift. Caught her slipping by the exit, driver stressing his fist before a strucker caught his hand and put his men in the switch. Helped the rubber eyes connected, then I left in the mist. Quick, Eddie was living with his men all bruised. Back at the dojo, on off walk and made me bend to his shoes. Damn, didn't want to do it, had my man inside a headlock. Reluctantly, my head dropped. Kiss his shoes, got up, hit the roof back at the best spot. Logo on the screen, looking fine, it's like a Libra. I get like a diva, I would like to see you. I would like to see him. Fire like a fever, like a lion to the zebra. Even said it'll bring me to if I carry him and rap there. Fashionable cashmere, that crate looks like a half chair. Waited outside, that's when fate would collide. They kidnapped her, but I peeped it, got the place in the ride. Yo, made her watch some garbage video, I kicked in the door. Like notorious with darts, I threw up hitting all 4. Eddie's head in a piranha tank that dripped on the floor. Hide heads need cool water, take a sip that I pour. Next we hit her ass, posted as she slid off her shoes. Like a bird with a hidden nest, I'm missing the clues. Blindfolded, private eye that blinks, the mission is smooth. Record players spinning slowly, couldn't get in the groove. Love is clumsy, kinda awkward, found the gift that I lose. Present things return more valuable than this I can prove. Made a necklace, made an exit, hope that this is excused. Court's love is not rejection, like a kiss that's refused. Wanna smash, gotta dash, what's a nigga to do? Socket to me, I socket to you. Cool breeze blowing through, dancing posse crew. Where's the master? Here's the laughter, nothing's funny but you. The master's busy acting silly, left me stuck for a few. I was on up stepping in the pizza shop, whole crew with shoulder pads, screaming on his folks' dad. Oh, you mean Junior? Yeah, Junior, things is going bad. Mama throwing dough in their face like strip clubbing. Little bro got tossed in the trash, yo, kick something. Who plays his garbage shit in the glass in the brick oven? It's better than McLovin. Z, I'm the baddest man around, you ain't gotta like me. Just take a chicken-hearted son, now he's gotta fight me. Shut up as they speeding off, hug my mama tightly. They all looking down on me when I'm God Almighty. Hit the heavy bag, imagine it's him. Lord walking, smiling at me while I'm mad at the gym. Said she needs a bodyguard to guard her African skins. Said I should look like a master as she laughed with a grin. So seductive while I'm down the lotus flower that has some bloom. Eddie Arcadian was building up his cast of goons. And my meanest, the baddest and the prettiest. Keep your money, I just wanna smash until he's hideous. I bumped into Laura, the apology's mine. Took a ride, look inside, surprised and shocked at one time. Kissed her while my brother spying, there's a lot on the line. Like Bruce and his opponent's lair, I jetted, not a good time. Once the coast was clear, the folks appeared and tied them up both. Set the stage, the beast left the cage and silence they hopes. Hey, my man, but it's looking like when pie gets a hoax. Straight from Daddy Green's pizza, rolling bags as I told. I wanna see the masses now, put these guys in the yoke. For a fortune cookie machine with hidden lines that I quote. From a master that don't exist, from my third eye isn't broke. My former teacher pointed at me like the lines in the scope. I was born a quiet storm with moving high into slopes. Brought an arsenal of weapons, crept inside with no cloak. Corrupt powers, tied as a break dancing, slide from you ropes. Announced me once I hit the stage like I was rhyming the host. In the zodiac circle in the cipher spokes. Each degree's a blade and angle, cut the pie in the ghost. Nunchuck and punch struck him, 25 of them smoke. Took a lie at the woke, tossed aside as I choked. They kept coming, always lost to the arrival of most. My students came to shoot a flame, my troops collided the goat. Tasting Eddie through a warehouse, bullets fly through the toast. Though a ninja starts and darts to turn the sky to a roast. Take my brother from a scuffle, locked inside of his boat. Shut off every simple final boss and working it slow. Ducking kicks and blocking punches with berserkers I throw. Many certain blows kick me through the surface exposed. I return the favor, resting while he's hurting. I pose and turn a second, then he vanished in return with a glow. Who's the master, bruise and batter to the surface below. Like red lightning at his fingertips, you hurting him, Zoe. Couldn't say it till I waited in the waters to grow. It's one place I never looked to find the source of the flow. Emerging from the baptism bag, dripping like a rich apostle who became Christ. Like the fish couldn't miss the gospel. Saw visions in the mind, swimming with no goggles, no gillies on the kid. Waited, but I didn't wallow. The last time I had emerged, Fibonacci spiral, flick of Vitruvian man. To the heights I flew, glistening ready as my aura like a supernova. You got the glow, I got the glow. Go check the beauty thrower. Can I kick him to the tub? This dude is dookie odor. Z-Boy green talkers, what you gonna do to Yoda? Hung him out to dry and see the bullets about to fly. Bow scum suck, pull the trigger out and down they cry. And when he came to check, my body was dead. Caught the bullet in my teeth and I stuck inside of my head. That's how my joint got crooked. Look how he got tied up instead. Pigs took him over, looking off the side of the ledge. I'm still glowing, still growing to the skies I spread.
If I could, I'd spend it all again with you.
Hold my hand, sit with me in the groove. I walk in, all white. Could you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And the last life or death couldn't keep me from you. Hold my hand, sit with me in the groove. I walk in, all white. Could you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And our last life or death couldn't keep me from you. So I live forever. Many lives search for hidden treasure, living lecture, found it within. And I'm too rich to measure, miss your neck and miss the net, or miss illumination, misses never, you the circle, and the circumambulation. Stay on point in the center with the perfect grand equation. I greet you with a kiss on your fed eye when you awaken. Mother in the sun, that's the science of a mason. In time I had to grow beyond the ciphers I was raised in. Achieved the 7 circles and I mastered the glow. 7 lead proceeds, the reason I fall back with the show. Astrologezus, gotta lead us, I imagine it so. Bruce, Zodiac, Roy, Elam, casted in gold. Soul reaper, flow bleacher, I done shattered the mold. The pattern is cold, your laugh is my abode. This path is too cold, it's warm in your presence. Beauty so pure, it was born from the essence. Galore effervescence. Each moment we're together is a reward, it's a present. That's why it's called presence. Brightest fluorescence. Hear ye, feel me, silence all peasants. I spit it all with you if I had 94 seconds. Years, months, days, the science is all lesson. You could be my classmate, beauty in your math shape. Truth you couldn't castrate, a blind film director. This movie, it wasn't half-baked. Zodiac calendar, remembered every past date. Money is time. Spitting every sin with you, cause I'm in love with your shine. Sit with me in the groove, I walk in, all white. Could you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And our last life or death couldn't keep me from you. Hold my hand, sit with me in the groove, I walk in, all white. Could you teach me some moves? I done brought my paintbrush. Did you see what we drew? And our last life or death couldn't keep me from you.
If I could, I would spend it all with you. And if I could, I'd spend it all again with you. If I could, I'd spend it all again with you.
You ready to go to sleep?
Can you read me a bedtime story first? Because I like staying up for night.
You better get your rest though.
Yeah,
Story?
Yes, please.
All right, what you got in mind?
I know this story. I haven't read it at all, but can you?
Let me see. Tarot. True animations. Reading our tales. Okay. By Ka-gregation. Let's see.
Spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale. From Aries to Ram to Libra to Scale. Each card is a page as the secrets unveil. These are true animations, reading our tales. Spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale. From Aries to Ram to Libra to Scale. Each card is a page as the secrets unveil. These are true animations, reading our tales. Zodiac, I threw the lightning in the tower card. Our story started with a fool who was a vagabond, dressed in rags, nothing but a stick that was a magic wand. Head dressed with feathers, he suffered from amnesia. So we wandered like a gypsy while puffing on plant reefer, just trying to fit each piece of the puzzle like Pangea. Key to open depths that were hidden, where he met the magician, hat brim, infinity shape, trained metaphysician. He gave a premonition, helped him with the struggle, extended his hand and gave his overboard his belt buckle. Next he met the high priestess who gave him telekinesis. Moon below her toes, you will fold in the Venus glyph. Beam me to the Empress, crowned with 12 stars in it. One for each sign of the zodiac opulence, joined by the emperor whose roar made the heavens shake. The emperor ram's horns in the letter shape, dressed in red, Mars upon his head, let it resonate. Images replaced by 4 Moors like our former glory. Great performer, listen closely if you want the story. Next came the hieroglyphic phantom of the optimist, primer the Indian, hierophant astrologist, throwing up the sign of peace, gave him wisdom, sent him straight to Eden, but the time was brief for even in the blind belief. Sleeping Beauty lover's card, rode off in the chariot, canopy of heaven, 2 sphinxes trained to carry it. Signs in his brain with the reins to a justice, ruler king measured on the scales for the justice. Hermit at the mountaintop, standing at the cuspice, lancing with the star, David shot it in his one fist, who spun the wheel of force and blindfolded with a sun disc, with strength to hang the man who was a bat like getting gun fist, who legs were crossed like Jupiter's, death remained among myth, skeleton upon the horse, reaper in the psychic flames, ghost rider speaking prediction before the cycle came. Next he came to a river and saw a vision, an angel with 2 cups in her hands for temperation to cool the hot-headed, and viewed the exorcism, 1 foot in water, 1 foot on the land like noble Jew, Pope a caterpillar, books in the sand, forming spirits back in bodies till they couldn't expand. Bartender of the breath of man, chalice of the body, tempted by the devil, bath of Mephistopheles, offered fame but lost his name, inheritance and property. Now we reached the beginning, but it tarot the tower, climb the spiral staircase, coming kind of the flower, human body, stellar dweller, Kabbalatry, struck by 6 zodiac bolts that made the robbers flee, jumping from the windows, shocking revelation, 9/11 spinal resin, cosmic elevation, beneath the sun, moon and stars he watched the set awaken, the council of the 7 lights above him like a Sagan, making wishes from the dragon that exists for the occasion, prolific everlasting words written in the flames of Mayan mystic spell casting, Mr. Wizard spells Latin, rotary, notary, rotor wheel spoke to me, Torah turn, Taurus, Torah in the rotor tree, ring around the rosary, Aries in the ovaries, Rosemary's babies still buried in the code you see, all the book of life stories written in the card deck, fishing with a large net, how distant can the stars get? It's so close like I'm sitting in the star jet, dollars worth more than gold is in ignorance and large debt, vision how the bonds met, miracle in bronze flesh, did you see the tale that is written in your arms? Yo, spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale, from Aries to Ram to Libra to Scale, each card is a page as the secrets unveil, these are true animations, reading our tales, spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale, from Aries to Ram to Libra to Scale, each card is a page as the secrets unveil, these are true animations,